Good evening.
Hello.
Just us chickens and Christina?
So far.
Hi, hi.
Hi. Did you get my email last night, Christina?
I did. I'm so sorry. Yes, I did. I didn't respond, but I did.
That's okay. That's okay.
Thank you.
That was, I swear I went by there earlier and it was still upright. And then that's the way I go home from town hall. I went right by it. Oh, I got cut.
Unfortunately, they just mow it down. But we'll try to get a better protocol in place.
Well, we also don't want anyone to get killed.
Of course.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Evening.
Let me get my agenda out here. There we go. Megan, thank you very much.
Thank
Red
you.
lines are important.
Megan, you're in two places.
Am I? Oh, it must
Yeah.
be Noel. She'll change her name in a second.
Oh, okay.
I'm good, but not that good.
So, oh, Brian, you're here. Great. I was worried we weren't going to get a quorum right away. Speak. Oh, Mr. Mute. What are you having for supper tonight? I see you're chewing madly.
Pizza. Pizza.
Uh, I made pasta with salad.
I just got home. I barely had any time.
That happens. So, what do we got here? Oh, what happened here? Did I lose it? Lose it? There we go. Do. So, what do we have for a company here? 13 people. That's pretty good. Sorry, I need to find my speech. I have too many pieces of paper here. Oh, wait, I have to go to the computer. Uh,
Looks like Noelle has a four-footed friend that went by behind her.
I do. It was one of two. Hold on.
Ah, a cat.
My kitty. That's
Cute.
Howie.
All right, so we have Brian, myself, Melissa. Is Melissa here?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I think there's just three of us.
Yeah,
Melissa
you,
should be
Brian.
here.
So,
Been sworn in. I don't know if that counts, but
No.
yeah,
Uh,
your
next
next meeting, your
meeting.
first meeting, yeah, will
Sorry,
be
you,
next week, Tony.
yeah, you have to be July. Sorry.
okay, no worries.
Yeah, Melissa said she would be here, so
Yeah,
she'll
she
be
told me
here
that too.
soon. And then Nick and Navneet
We'll be
are
late.
coming a little late.
Gonna be an hour late, right?
And who is S?
Who is
I
S?
think that's public. Melissa just joined, so
Okay,
Oh, good.
good.
Yeah, whoever's
Yeah.
name is S, if you could change your name to whoever you are, that would be helpful.
Have we figured it out yet?
No.
I don't see an S on mine. Oh, there we are. Yes. It's S for spy.
Just want to make sure it's a real person.
But
I don't want anything crazy to happen.
we need to know the who that is for the record. So it's important. All right. Well, so we do have a quorum as of now. We have Brian, myself, Melissa, and Sylvia.
But
Dan is
George, you
not
need to
going to.
kick Mr. S or Mrs. S out if they're not going to identify themselves.
Well,
So
I'll leave
doesn't
that
somebody who joins from the town have to identify themselves if they speak?
if
Or
they speak. Yes, that's part of the speech that's coming up.
I thought they had to identify themselves even if I thought we couldn't have blank participant names in Zoom.
I don't know, but you're more expert on OML than I am.
I'm pretty sure that if they don't give their name, we have to kick them out and they can come back in with a real name. So that would be you, Megan, I guess, right? You're muted.
I put them in the waiting room,
Okay.
so
Okay, yeah, I
hopefully
don't
they
see them
change
now.
their
Okay,
name.
all right. So let's see where I am here. There we go. All right, so it is now 7:04. I'm George Shepard, the chair of the Conservation Commission, and I call this meeting of the Conservation Commission to order. Members present are Brian Murphy, Melissa Webster, Dan Wells. No, he's not there. Who am I missing? Sylvia Willard and myself. Remotely connected are Conservation Administrator Megan Sullivan and Noel Beland, Planning and Land Use Coordinator. And I'm hoping Sarah will join in too. For this meeting, the Conservation Commission is convening by telephone or Zoom web conference as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. Accordingly, please be aware that other participants may be able to hear you, and anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All participants should keep their phones or microphones muted unless I'm recognized by me. I will call on each speaker to address the commission. If you wish to address the commission, please click the raised hand icon or ask to speak by posting a request in the chat feature. Please identify yourself at the start of your remarks. All right. Turning to the agenda. Number one, we're a little late. It's 7:05 and a half. We have community input. So I look to the community and say, do you have any issues that you would like to raise?
turning my microphone.
I don't see anyone raising a hand or. All right. So now it is 7:06. Therefore, I can move on to the public hearing notice of intent.
Do you want to
Do-
just quickly do an LSC update? Sorry, I combined those two things so we could.
Oh, you're
have
right.
it.
I'm sorry. All right. Is there a representative from LSC who'd like to give us an update?
I think there are probably several.
Yeah.
I'll start. For the record, Alex Parra, LSC, 31 Bellows Hill. I did up a little draft report, which I gave to Megan. She's put up on the screen. I have to say, it was done at 4:30 in the morning when I couldn't sleep. So there are remnants of the last report at the end of it you can ignore. Just very briefly, we discussed our Fox Hill site visit, and and of course there was the community meeting yesterday, which I think
Last night. Yeah.
last night, which was very good, I thought. So it's our intention at our next meeting to go back and discuss both the results of last night's meeting and our site visit, and to begin working on updates to the management plan and recommendations for the Conservation Commission for interim maintenance. So that's that. We scheduled 2 site visits, one for Foss Farm on July 16 at 4 p.m. I've already given our garden manager the wrong date, but I think I fixed that. And we're also going to be inviting the Pony Club and Farmer Duffy. We also have a site visit for the Russell Street property on July 1 at 4 p.m. And the HOA will be invited to that one. That one is for the purpose of scoping out the knotweed problem and also locating a bound that seems to have gone missing. We discussed the town administrator's proposed revision to the LSC charter. Since you have that as a separate agenda item, we'll address that later when you address it in your agenda. We received several reports on various pending matters. First, the Benfield platform, Alan Ankers and I went out and I learned a lesson, which is don't cry wolf until you know what you're talking about. The swaying of the platform is normal for that, and has been there since it was installed. There are some repairs necessary for the seating, which the Trails Committee will undertake when and as it can, probably in the winter. We had the Old Home Day table manned by Chris and Angie. Some interest, but no applications yet to join. I think those are the highlights. If you get a chance, read the report. And if you have any questions, let us know. And of course, attend the site visits if you can for Foss Farm and Russell. Thanks.
What was the
Alex,
time again for Foss Farm?
Foss Farm is July 16 at 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
And Russell is July 21 at 4 p.m.
7:21. I'm sorry, I expect to be in Maine myself, so I'll let the rest of the commission come in and join you. Summertime's a tough time. But anyway, Alex, I'm pleased that you are part of this commission. You're very well spoken and you're very organized. So I appreciate your insight. So please continue.
That may not last long.
Oh, I doubt it. Come on. All right. Any other people would like to speak about the Land Steward Committee update? Hearing none, I think we'll move on to item number 1. Public hearing, notice of intent, DEP file 125-1213. This is at 343 Bedford Road, parcel 22-72-A. The applicant is Brad Kimball and West Isle Corporation. The project description is construction of an upgraded sewage disposal system within the 100-foot buffer zone to border BVW, associated with the partial reconstruction and renovation of the existing dwelling. So, Megan, you want to talk about your site visit before we get going here? You're muted.
Sorry. I think we have a representative for the applicant, so why don't we let them go first?
All right, that's fine.
Sure. My name is Paul Kirchner from Stamsky McNary. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, so I can give an overview of the project. I'm going to share my screen. So as you said, the property address is 343 Bedford Road, presumably better known as the site of the Kimball Farm ice cream stand. So if you can see the plan that I have on my screen right now, I'm just zoomed in on the locus from the plan that we had submitted. And with my cursor right now, I'm trying to sort of circle where the ice cream stand itself is, and the parking lot's in front of that. So the actual building where the work is proposed is sort of behind it and to the left, and that's this structure that I'm trying to circle right now.
Got it.
So there are some other structures to the rear. They have goats and geese on the property. So these other structures are related to the agricultural activity they have out here. But the proposed work is on the dwelling structure. So I'm going to zoom it out to show the plan that actually provides the detail here. So like I said, here's the house. The ice cream stand is somewhere over here, but there is bordering vegetated wetland on the site that projects 100-foot buffer zone onto the property. This dwelling structure is actually outside of the buffer zone. I'm tracing the buffer zone line with my cursor right here, but obviously you can see it is fairly close. There's other resource areas on the site. To the northeast, well away from the project site, there is a stream hundreds of feet away. So we're well outside of the 200-foot riverfront area, but I just wanted to mention that. We'd only be seeking confirmation of the flags, that we have shown on this plan. But ultimately, the proposed project is for the renovation or reconstruction of the dwelling. All of that work associated with the actual, building of the addition is outside the buffer zone, but some of the work related to that is within the buffer zone. So we have a new sewage disposal system proposed. It includes a septic tank, pump chamber, and Presby advanced enviroseptic leach field. The leach field is outside of the buffer zone, but the tanks are proposed within the buffer zone. There's also a patio proposed behind the addition that is outside the buffer zone, but due to the existing and proposed grading behind the house, we do have a small area drain with a proposed outfall that is located within the buffer zone, just to get it down the hill here. This septic system has been reviewed and approved by the Board of Health. So we do have a permit from them to construct the system as shown on this plan here. And then just in terms of what the area looks like now, I'm going to show you a picture in a second. So Megan had sent me an email asking about what the area looks like now. I went out there this afternoon, so I'm sure maybe no one on the commission has had an opportunity to see this yet, but these are just some pictures of the area within the buffer zone where we have work proposed. So it sort of speaks for itself. There is one tree in the buffer zone. It's right here, and I have a couple better pictures later that focus more on the tree. But this is the view looking, towards the north. It's from the south. This is looking towards the south from the north. Here's that tree that I mentioned. And I have a couple pictures of the one tree here. I'm not an arborist. I really know very little about plants, to be honest with you, but the tree does not appear to be in very good health to me. And I think the second picture I have here actually showcases that a little bit. It just doesn't appear to be a very healthy tree. But I will leave that up to you to determine if you agree with me. So just the one tree proposed to be removed. All the other work is, this is what the ground surface looks like, all the other work in the buffer zone. So ultimately, I feel that it's not a substantial impact in the buffer zone, but we do have work proposed. So if you have any questions, please ask away. Thank you.
I have one. You just showed a pipe that you said was that a point source discharge from the structure that you're proposing?
This is from an area drain. Yep. It is a proposed drain outfall.
You can't do a point source discharge. You'd have to drain it into a well. That's, as you probably know, that's
not necessarily. This is not subject to the stormwater standards.
Okay. I would be very against that. I think it needs to go into a well. I don't think you should discharge. Where's it coming from out of the house?
It's coming from a patio.
But it is in the buffer zone, so.
Yeah, I mean, I came from a different commission and we had some different rules, but that would never be allowed where I was. There shouldn't be any point source discharges. I
I mean,
believe
this
they
is
require an EPA filing.
EPA. I
Yes, the
disagree.
stormwater, so yeah, stormwater is exempt from the Massachusetts, so sorry, single family homes are exempt from the Massachusetts stormwater standards. So, my understanding is that the jurisdiction we have over stormwater is if it directly if it alters the wetland. So maybe Paul, if you want to make the argument of if you think that, this discharge in the buffer zone alters the wetland or not, because is it about 50 feet from the wetland where you have that riprap sketched out?
It is approximately 50 feet from the wetland, yeah. I don't have that exact distance, but visually that is how it appears. And it's not subject to the stormwater standards. Even if it were, the commission certainly has the authority to approve something like this as long as it, if it were subject to the standards, you'd have to confirm that it complies, but this isn't even subject to the standards. So I
So you're
absolutely do believe
proposing
this is allowable.
a splash pad under it, or what have you got? Is there a detail?
Yeah, we are. So I think do I not have it on here? Apparently do not have a detail, but we do have flared end proposed. That's what I identify on the plan. So the
Well, I would
intent would
ask that
be
you put that. I
flared
would
end
ask that you
with
put that on the
riprap.
plan. I would ask that you put that on the plan so we can see it.
The design for the flared end.
That is easily done.
Thanks. That was my only question.
I have a couple.
You're up, Sylvia. Go.
Okay. First of all, as I went through the notice of intent, I noticed that at least on the one that was sent, digital copy, the representative didn't sign page 9. That's usually a pretty good thing to do. I don't know if there's an original where it was signed or not. Minor thing. Where is the existing septic system?
I'm going to zoom in here. So it's this is the tank, and it's just one leaching pit. It's actually within the buffer zone, but
No
it's
wonder
just
I
one
couldn't
pit here.
find it.
Yeah, definitely hidden, both of them. I mean, they are labeled, but
Okay.
they're underneath everything. So
Okay. So my next question is, where is the access going to be? Because I don't see where the driveway is. So where is the access for the construction of this septic system? And while I'm at it, although I understand the addition is outside the buffer zone, will any of the access for removing the materials that are being demolished and putting up the new ones going to be going through the buffer zone?
So the driveway is right. It's on the right here. We only have a portion of the left edge shown here, but that's the driveway where they get access to Bedford Road. Access to construct the system. I mean, my expectation or the intent is for them to access from the north in this direction, because there is a 22-inch tree right here that we want to remain. So we have proposed the barrier as shown, just because this is a partial reconstruction and renovation. So just have widened that barrier out there so they can do exterior work, but the tree itself is going to remain. So they'll access this site from the north.
Okay, so the line that's on the right of the structure isn't a property line, it's a zoning line, right?
Yeah, it's a zoning line.
Yeah,
So
so they've
we don't-
got,
yeah.
they can get into there without, getting on somebody
Disturbing
else's property.
Right. Yeah.
So they would be coming in, well, wherever they have to come in, that's definitely outside the buffer
Yeah.
zone.
Yeah, I mean that driveway like at the front might be partially within the buffer zone, but it's paved, it's long
Paved. Yeah,
established. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
So during the construction of the septic system, where do you store the material as you prepare to do the installation?
They'll store it up here, like outside the buffer zone. So, um, my expectation would be, tanks first. So excavate out material so you can place the tanks, and then most of that is going to need to be hauled off. I mean, installation of the septic tanks is, like a shorter term operation because it's more like you dig a hole, put them in,
Mhm.
or health checks it, and then you fill it back in. Leach field does take a little bit longer because there's more inspections involved. But they would start with the tanks and then move uphill. Any material will be stored in this area and hauled off site if needed.
So Sylvia, who actually does the monitoring while this installation process is going on to make sure that we are doing things properly?
Well, the Board of Health has numerous points of during construction where they go in and check. Is that correct?
Yeah, they inspect once you have a hole excavated for the leach field, they inspect the bottom. Then the leach field itself is actually installed and they inspect that before it's buried. And then after it's buried, they come out again. And these are all done once a week, so it takes a few weeks. But they're out there every week for those few weeks that installation is ongoing.
So the trucking, which is going to be hauling not only soil out and sand in, and the components, including probably a rather good-sized septic tank, will be coming in from Bedford Road, going sort of up behind the ice cream stand to the right of the building and around the back of the building to the septic system, to design this, to construct the septic system. In addition to that, when they demolish part of the building, it will probably take the same route out, but in reverse. Is that correct? So they wouldn't be going
Yep, that's
around
correct.
the other side of the house.
Correct, yeah. Because the only portion of the building they're demolishing is on the
What did you
backside
say?
there. So
What did you
the
say?
only portion of the building that they're demolishing is on the backside,
Right,
further
correct.
from the wetland. So
Yes.
there'd be no reason to do any of that work in the buffer zone.
Okay. Any other comments from commissioners before we open it up to the public? Hearing none for now. Does anyone from the public like to add a comment? All right. So, Megan, you had some red lines in here. Do you want to just summarize what you put in?
Yeah, I think Paul kind of touched on most of my comments. Seems like a pretty straightforward project. It's a decent distance from the wetland, just some associated work with the septic, and then that drainage area. And I wrote down to maybe include a special condition with what Sylvia was saying to make sure no construction vehicles or stockpiling or anything like that occurs in the buffer zone. So if you choose to issue an order of conditions, I can include that as a special site-specific condition. And then I assume this might be in the notes on the site plan. But I assume all that disturbed area will just be seeded to stabilize it. Yeah, I think it says it over there. Just confirming. But other than that, I don't have any other comments.
All right. So do we need to get an update to the drawing before we pass final approval, or is this sufficient from your standpoint?
Are you asking me or the commission?
Well, I'm asking commission and you.
Okay.
As the commission, I would like the details shown of that point source discharge.
Yeah, we can certainly add that to the plan. I would request that that's made a condition of approval because I would expect I don't expect there would be much to talk about. We have the detail.
I think you should have
And
done it in
that's it.
advance. I think that's bad workmanship that you didn't show it, so I would like to see it.
All right, it's still extremely minor addition to the plan.
I don't disagree, but I just think that it's a detail that you left out, so I would like
Yeah,
to see
and
it.
we will add it to the plan. Absolutely. I'm just requesting that it be made a condition of approval.
And I would say I wouldn't close the hearing until you do it, so that's my opinion.
I will
Yeah,
just
well,
note
I mean,
that
we did
drainage
submit
area.
this. Sorry.
I was just gonna say the proposed, if you're talking about a detail for the proposed area drain, that's outside, like physically outside of our jurisdiction. But if you're asking for a detail of like the discharge point and the flared ends, of course that's in our jurisdiction. So I just wanted to clarify what the detail would be providing.
I'm asking for the point source discharge and in the buffer zone, which is in our jurisdiction.
Right.
Yeah, we can add that to the plan. I just do think this is an instance where a condition of approval is appropriate.
I hear your opinion, but you're not the commission, so please.
Yeah, of
I'm
course
asking you to
not.
Put that on the plan.
Yeah.
All right, Megan, you're the
we're just trying to
commission.
close this up and, I don't
Then
don't
you
want
should have
it.
done a better job in the beginning and put it on the plan. That would
I
be
don't,
my-
I'm so, all right. All right.
Yeah, Brian, you're right, but we'd like to move this forward too. So can we make this a condition that, if that's added to the plan, that we can have our administrator actually approve it from there on out?
George, I think it gets to be a slippery slope. If we allow all these things, it should be on the plan and he should have done it. So shame on him, put it on the plan and continue the hearing. That's would be my opinion.
So I look to my administrator. What's the history of this type of process?
I mean, it's really, I think it's going to be up to the other commissioners if you agree or not. I'm not sure what the detail will show that change, like the scope of the project or the impact. But that's just my opinion. It's the commission's decision ultimately. So I'm gonna leave that to you all to.
All right, so
decide.
can I get a recommendation to delay the decision until the plan is updated for this particular drainage situation?
So
And I'll
moved.
ask what? That's
So
Brian
moved.
moved
That
it.
would be my opinion. I would
Yep.
support that motion. I
Understood.
just think that, George, if we start leaving loose ends, it makes more
Peace.
work for Megan and it's
Peace, Brian. I understand where you're coming from.
okay.
So can I get a second for that motion? I guess not. So I think that motion does not pass. So therefore, do we get a motion to approve as provided in the current situation and with standard conditions, including that of adding the flared end design for that particular result for that drainage appendage? Is that something we can do, Megan?
Yeah, I think it's really up to the commission to decide if they want to approve the project tonight, if they're okay with it. And someone can make the motion for that. If they want to see more detail, then it sounds like Stamsky's willing to provide that after this
Understood.
meeting.
But we only have 4 people here, of which one is not going to vote in favor of approving it, is my understanding. So the
So
recommendation.
you need 3 people for the motion to carry if there's 4 of you.
Oh, I thought we needed 4 at all times. No?
No, because
Okay.
right now your quorum is 4, so you need the majority of your current quorum.
All right. So can I get a motion to approve the current plan as demonstrated with provision that they will actually add the design of the drainage flared end to the eventual.
As well as the, the approach, what was mentioned before about the work coming.
Right. Construction.
You can just say the
Construction
special
access.
condition
Yeah,
previously
construction
mentioned.
access.
Yeah, the special conditions previously discussed.
Yeah.
All right. Can I get a second for that?
Second.
Melissa, thank you very much. And we'll take a vote. Sylvia?
Aye.
Brian?
Nay.
Melissa?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The motion passes.
Thank you all.
Paul, thank you very much. Please add the addition.
I'm on it.
All right. Moving on to item number 2. It is now 7:34, so we're 14 minutes behind, but that's all right. Public hearing, notice of intent, DEP file 125-1212. I don't want to turn on my light. This is at 253 Noel Farm Road, parcel 1-6-20K. The applicant is Edward Theonis. The project description is construction of an addition to an existing single-family home, construction of a retaining wall, driveway location, and mitigation planting within the 100-foot buffer zone to the BVW. And this was continued from June 11th of this month.
Problem?
Go ahead.
I'm recused from this hearing.
Oh,
It drops you down to 3.
so does that mean, Megan, 2 is sufficient for a quorum?
No, because you need a quorum for the public hearing to be opened. And 7 members, you need a quorum for the public hearing to be open, which would be 4. So if Sylvia recuses, I believe that only leaves us 3. I know Navneet and Nick said they were going to join at some point, but it doesn't look like they have yet.
Yeah, they said about an hour.
Right.
So
Can we
could a
delay
vote
this and
Permission from the
come back to
applicant
it?
to wait to hold the hearing a little later tonight?
That's my question too.
If the applicant's okay with it, with waiting until the other commissioners join, or if you rather just continue it, I don't know, up to the applicant.
Yeah, I'm Edward Tonis. I'll wait for the other members.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. Sorry, it's that time of year when it's hard to get everybody together. So we will delay that and move on to item number 3. Oh, all of a sudden we're on schedule. Public meeting request for full certification of compliance to EP file 125-1064. The location is Woodward Village, Kays Walk, parcel 10-4-X. The applicant is Stamsky and McNary on behalf of the Now Communities LLC. And the description is construction of 18 dwelling units and associated appurtenances, which was continued from the May 28th and June 11th meetings. And I gather from the comment I see here that the applicant has requested a continuance to the 16th of July.
Yes, that is correct. We got a peer review done for this request, and the peer review was submitted to the applicant. So they're just working on their responses right now. And they should have those ready for us for our July 16th meeting. But the applicant actually did request that I try to schedule a meeting or a site visit with the commissioners so that they can get out to site with the applicant to look at some of the things mentioned in the peer review letter. Obviously, no deliberation on site, but just so that you can see some of the things that are mentioned. So hoping, I know there's only 4 of us here, but seeing if you all have interest or availability to schedule a site visit next week, or the week after.
Well, next week is good for me, and then I'm heading to Maine on the 5th of July, so next
Okay.
week would be preferable as far as I'm concerned.
Me
Not
too.
Friday, please.
I can do next week too.
I believe I can do most of next week.
Okay, how do we feel about next Thursday?
What time?
Let's go for 10 a.m.
There is a possible conflict because of the Bog House.
Oh,
It's either going to be Wednesday or Thursday, I believe.
Can we do a little?
It's at
I
10.
think that's the following week.
The following week I'm out.
Can we do?
So I
Thursday?
think. Go
Sorry,
ahead, Melissa.
next week, the 29th is Monday. So Thursday would be the 2nd of July, right?
Yes.
Let me get my calendar up.
Yeah,
So-
the Blog House site visit isn't until the following week after that, Sylvia, the 8th and 9th.
Okay, it's the 8th and 9th.
The Bog House one, yeah. So next Thursday is
Okay.
July 2nd. Did 10 a.m. work for people or maybe a different time?
I can't do the 2nd or the 3rd, but I could do the 1st.
Okay.
I can't do that week. My daughter's coming from Chicago with my grandkids.
I see.
Is that a good enough
Can't do
excuse?
next week? It's coming week, right?
It's next week, Sylvia. Is that right?
This would be the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Okay,
Can
what
I do
about
a long week
What
here?
about the 1st?
Can you do the
Ah,
first, Sylvia? Wednesday, the first?
Wednesday, the 1st, that's when they're coming.
How
They're
early?
leaving on Tuesday.
How about the 30th?
The
Tuesday,
third-
the 30th?
That's Tuesday.
Yeah.
They're coming on July 2nd and leaving on the 4th.
Oh, so how about July
Excuse me,
1st?
they're coming on July 1 and leaving
Oh.
on the 4th.
Oh,
How about June 30th? Day
No
before
problem.
they arrive.
No problem.
I can't do that until before 1 o'clock.
I can do the afternoon anytime.
Oh, good.
2 o'clock?
Sounds
good to
great.
me.
Wow.
June
Okay.
30th,
Let me.
2 p.m. Woodward.
Yep.
Woodward
So
Village.
6:30
Woodward Village.
Village, yes.
and 6:30, 2 p.m. Woodward.
What's
Okay, I'll
6:30?
send an email reminder after the meeting as well.
Okay.
Thank
That'd be
you.
great. And also to the people that aren't currently
Yeah.
online.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Do we need a motion to continue this to the 16th? The
Yeah.
actual,
Yes, please.
I think we do. Can I get a
So moved.
motion to move that?
Yep.
Melissa? Can I get a second?
Second, Sylvia.
Sylvia? And we'll take a roll call vote. Brian?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Sylvia?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, the motion passes. All right. Any other wayward commissioners shown up yet? All right, I need to go back to my Zoom screen. I was looking at my calendar. Okay. It is 7:42 or thereabouts. Item number 4, Land Stewardship Committee Charter, review administrative activities and tech staff support. So do we have a representative from the LSC? I bet we do. Besides Alex?
I can speak to this if you'd like, or Alex can first, whatever.
Yeah, Chris is here as well.
Oh, hi,
Oh,
Chris.
good. Well, Megan, you've summarized things. Why don't you go through your notes and then we'll open it up to the LSC members.
Yeah, sure. I also know Ryan is here as well, so he can answer any questions anyone has. But essentially, me, Ryan, Sarah, and Noel, and Julie, kind of all the land use team, sat down and had a meeting about how we were supporting LSC and what responsibilities we had as staff. And then compared that to the charter. So the current charter says that things like meeting agenda preparation, publication, distribution of meeting materials, posting of approved documents, and related functions should be supported by and processed through the Conservation Commission administrator or other authorized town staff. And Ryan's recommendation was that instead of doing that, we provide support more in a sense of training. So Sarah would be training LSC members on how to make an agenda, how to post it, how to do the minutes, and kind of keep them on track. So the proposal is to change the charter to align with that. I don't know, Ryan, if you want to speak to that a bit more.
Hi, everyone. I'd be happy to answer any questions, but I think you summarized it succinctly.
Thank you.
All right. Any LSC commissioners like to comment? Hearing none.
I mean,
Any,
I certainly would like to comment.
all right.
I know
Go ahead,
Alex
Chris.
is still on, but he had some comments about that as well. Yeah, I guess I was kind of surprised to hear that. Given the enormity of the tasks on managing all of the lands that the LSC is going to be working for the commission. I think adding these, not getting the support from the staff is going to be a problem for us. I think the last incarnation of the LSC, part of our struggles was actually, I think some of the administrative stuff contributed to some of our difficulties, getting documents published for the meeting, getting comments from the public published on the website and things, and getting meeting minutes out and published. And it's just, I guess I don't understand the reason for the change.
Well, Ryan, do you want to comment? Because I think this change is based upon your comments.
Well, I mean, it's certainly a townwide focus to either lessen the amount of boards and committees that are necessary, or to reassign the tasks of minutes, et cetera, to technology and more away from staff. So staff is really expensive. The idea that we would have staff dedicated to minutes and agendas really takes away from their ability to assist with the more technical aspects of the job. And with the technology we have, you can take a transcript, run it through the AI systems, and produce minutes in under 20 minutes now. And the most difficult part of minutes is getting the committees to review them and to approve them. So the staff is happy to help with the second part, but when the committees themselves do their own minutes, it tends to be faster and more aligned with what they want. So the only committees now that do have staff support for minutes are the CONSCOM, the Select Board, the Planning Board, and the MFC. And I think that's it at this point.
So I guess what you're saying would require that the CONSCOM administrator participate in the LSC activities so that she can be able to be upfront about the preparation and publication and so on. Is that true?
We're just not hiring staff anymore that would be considered to be secretarial or recording secretary. The staff is supposed to enhance and assist the boards and committees in doing the business of the town work. So we do currently support the conscom, for example, with an administrative assistant, but it's a 5-figure investment just for minutes, et cetera. So the aim of the executive side of the town, and this isn't the town administrator really, this is conversations at length at the finance committee and select board level, to reinvest that money into the technology and the support that the boards and committees are asking for. And one of the reasons why they're trying to reduce the amount of boards and committees is every time a board and committee is created, they want staff, and not staff to do detailed work. They want staff to do agendas and minutes, et cetera. And the feedback from the community is that we need to reduce the amount of payment we're making across the board. And this is one of the most effective ways to do it.
Ryan, can I ask a question about that?
Yes.
I've used clerk minutes and sat with Judy Hodges and had conversations with Gretchen as well. And it takes the Zoom recording and it generates the minutes automatically. It can do short form and long form, and it takes like two minutes to do that. The minutes are very good, and Judy has told me that her effort is reduced to proofreading. Sometimes there's names that are spelled wrong, but that in general, the minutes are excellent. So how do you envision minute preparation going forward for all of Carlisle's boards and committees? Because it seems to me, wouldn't it be cost effective for Carlisle to rely on clerk minutes and have like basically an assembly line that generates these subject to board approval or committee approval as a, sort of a how should we say, proofreading or, editorial review?
That is the intent. So when we said train volunteers, we want to train volunteers to quickly produce their minutes, proofread them, and get them out to the rest of their committees. And we think the staff is more of an enhancer to train an army of volunteers to do this rather than rely on the staff to do it.
But isn't it pretty cost effective I think today we have the support of Judy Hodges, and she's told me that she has very little to do for our meetings, and that's cut into her income, although she applauds the effort. Don't we have budget for a senior citizen to work very part-time as a contractor to offload this for everybody across the board? Wouldn't that be a, kind of an efficient way to manage it rather than train a lot of people and have a lot of seats?
Well, Judy's position
don't you have to pay more for the software if you have lots of users?
No, you don't. We really just need someone to prepare the transcripts and proofread the minutes, and then of course turn them into the town clerk. But Judy makes more than $30 an hour to do that task. And if you multiply that by the 30 or 40 boards we have in town, the amount of staff time that would need to be dedicated to minutes and agenda preparations is a lot. And if the town wants to do that, that's fine. But that's the counter to that is we will not be able to assist you with grants, rebate applications, assisting community when they come in, and some of the other applications.
Fair enough. What about the idea that that we have basically a workflow that automatically kicks in at the end of every Zoom meeting that generates the meetings? They go right into the packet, and nobody even has to touch them. Commissioners then review, committee members then review. I mean, can that just be handled automatically? Why do we even need a human interface to generate the draft?
So I'm trying to be slightly funny when I say this, but if everybody adopted that strategy, this would be an easy conversation. But most of the boards and committees that are looking for support, they kind of don't want to engage in any process at all. They just want staff to do it. So overall, it's not a cost-effective approach. And if someone directs me to do it, I'll do it. Like I'm not saying I'm blocking or anything. It's just I have a mandate to reduce administrative costs.
Well, we
Right, so
need
if it's
to,
possible to kick off an automatic process at the end of a Zoom meeting, so the minutes are automatically generated and distributed to commissioners for review, that seems like a good idea, no? Just take the human out of the equation altogether.
If I'm directed to do that, I'd be thrilled.
yeah. Well, that's what we need to train the other commissions about. Here's how you go about generating your minutes. Automatically give it to AI, and if you want to proofread, it's up to you.
Right, we have to proofread anyway.
Yep, I agree.
Can I ask a question?
Well, Jonathan has had his hand up for
Okay,
half an
all
hour,
right.
so now for Jonathan, what have you got?
So, Jonathan DeConnick, Oak Knoll Road. I'm just commenting as a member of the public here. This was one of the big sticking points when the charter was created. I watched that process happen and advised it a little bit. But like, for example, the commission went out of their way to not have a secretary as one of the officers of the Land Stewardship Committee because it was deemed unnecessary because there was not going to be this kind of work because staff would be assisting with it. So I would use caution in just eliminating that. In particular, since Navneet was directly involved with much of this, I would think that the commission would want to hear from her specifically on whether or not this makes sense. So that's my comment.
Sylvia, you want to comment again?
The minutes that we are now getting in our packets, are they AI generated or are they human worked on over AI generated minutes, or what are they?
I think they're minimally edited, very minimally edited, very minimally.
But they're from they're AI generated.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. So it is absolutely essential that the minutes are reviewed because they have errors in them. Some of them substantial. So one has to be careful. I did both sets of minutes. I've been reviewing minutes for the Conservation Commission for over 25 years, and I'm still finding mistakes in them. So, and
please continue to do so.
Well, if you just rely on me, someday I'm going to get sick, maybe.
No, well, someone has to back you up, shall we say?
I don't, Sylvia, just to reassure, I don't think anybody's suggesting we stop reviewing. Least of all you.
But I guess what I am saying is I am concerned. But as far as, and I think I'm not positive that Ryan is talking more than just doing minutes. In fact, the land stewards, for example, they produce documents and draft documents. They have in the past. They produce baseline assessments and management plans, and these things go up on the website. Not everybody, in the past anyway, is authorized to throw stuff up on the town's website. And it usually means that a staff person has to do it. Well, that's staff support.
Well, that's a trivial exercise to put a PDF on a website. I think the more significant exercise is the review of that document before it gets posted by the commission. That actually takes time, but putting a PDF on a website takes like 2 seconds.
For some people.
For anybody that knows the particular web content management system.
Yeah, well,
2 minutes. I'm a webmaster for 2 other charities.
This way, I was never authorized.
Takes no time
To put something up on the website.
No, I agree, but it's an infinitesimal increment to somebody's work week.
Well, just don't ask me to do it. Hey, Alex, your hands up.
Thank you. The communications that Megan shared with me and Chris, just before our meeting, uh, not only indicated that, we would not receive support in the sense of preparing minutes and agendas, but also that the support we would receive would be largely limited to training. Now, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but the tasks that and the ambitions for the LSC that are, laid out in the charter are, as Chris said, they're pretty daunting. There's a lot of work. There's the preparation of budgets. There's the, scoping and preparation of bid documents for maintenance, coordination of the maintenance, preparation of, management plans, preparation of baseline assessments, annual monitoring, ag license review, and all of those tasks, I think, would really benefit from staff support. I just, give an example is, Megan, this is not a criticism at all, but it would have been nice to know at the last meeting what bids, had been submitted for mowing and what they generally look like and how that might impact the budget. You know, and if you or Sarah are not available for meetings, it's going to put in an extra layer of time to ask for that information, get that information, and then consider it our, at our one of our 12 meetings that we're going to have every year, at least at a minimum. I would say, these tasks are core functions of the Conservation Commission, and if they weren't handed off to the LSC, you as the Conservation Commission would get that kind of staff support. And I think you're really going to have to make a choice is, will there be that kind of staff support, or are you just going to accept the fact that the LSC, especially shorthanded as we are now, are just not going to be able to address the ambitions in the charter. I would just give you an example. I mean, obviously there were problems earlier this year and last year, but for the strong and dedicated work of Megan, it would not have been possible for the commission to get out, requests for bids for the mowing and for the invasives treatment, with the possibility that you could encumber funds from this year's budget to pay for those. I think it's really important that, and again, I would put the minutes, I mean, obviously it would be very helpful to us, but I would put the minutes sort of as the least of my concerns. Lastly, just to follow up on what Jonathan said, this provision was put in the charter after a lot of discussion. It was very intentional. It was reviewed by the select board not once, but twice. Nobody said a word about that being inappropriate or needing, further review. But I would strongly urge the Conservation Commission not to amend the charter. And if it's necessary for the commission to, go back and address this with the select board and the finance committee, then do it. You would certainly have the support of the LSC in explaining to the select board and the finance committee why staff support really is necessary here. So that's
if
my
I
few
could,
cents.
if I could speak, because this isn't Megan, this is me. So, I'm not suggesting that the LSC doesn't receive staffing support. I'm suggesting that the LSC not receive secretarial support, because in previous iterations of the LSC, the staff was responsible for the agenda and wasn't really involved or included in any of the procurements or any of the things that you just talked about. So we have assigned Sarah to work as the staff support for the LSC, and we await the direction of the LSC and the CONSCOM on what to execute. And as the chief procurement officer and someone who guards the town's policies, I would say it would be tremendous if the board and committees would focus on the long-term plans and give us clear direction so that we can execute these visions. But what has happened is, as the boards deliberate and consider and start to build these plans, they tend to want staff support in the form of, please post this agenda and do these minutes. And we think the staff time would be better spent elsewhere until there is a plan to execute. And then once there is, it would be me, Megan, Sarah, Aubrey, Gretchen, the team of us deciding how to execute the work. So the select board and the FinCom have not said they don't want these boards and committees staffed. They just don't want the boards and committees deciding how the staff necessarily functions, because it's not always the most efficient. And depending on who it is, like Alex, you're a very different actor than some other board and committee members who don't want staff at all involved at all, except to write minutes. So the emphasis on the charter is not to take away staff support. It's to make sure that the staff support is aligned with the visions of the boards and the direction of the executives.
George, can I?
Please do.
Yeah. So, Ryan, perhaps before the commission considers an amendment to the LSC charter, members of the LSC can sit down with you and Sarah and Megan and anybody else you want to have there to really flesh out and what the LSC can expect in the way of staff support, and see if we can come up with something that works for you, the select board, finance committee, and us.
Yeah, and my suggestion is, I know this sounds like a nuanced argument. I'm not trying to do that, but what we're trying to sell in terms of our staff efficiency is, until there is something to execute, we shouldn't be holding staff support in reserve in order to accomplish something that doesn't exist yet. So there is no plan that I know of from the LSC to execute anything yet, because you just were reconstituted. So we don't know the level of work that's necessary. And I'm not sure that the select board, the FinCom, or the CONSCOM is on board with the level of work that you're describing until it can actually be seen. And once it's seen, I think it would be evident how much staff support is needed. But in any board where there is no current plan to execute, it's always been that staff will do the minutes and the agendas. And it's been very clear in all the long-term strategic plans that that's not the best or most efficient use of staff.
So, Alex, do you want to continue? I see your hand still up.
No, I'll put my hand down.
All right. So
if I can figure out how. There we go.
What I'm hearing is that it makes sense for the LSC and the CONSCOM administrators sit down with you, Ryan, and have a discussion on how we handle the manpower assessment and what the task should be. Is that something we can do before the next meeting? Or first of all, is that the right thing to do?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we want to know what you want to do so that we can we can tell you how to best staff it. We're not trying to tell you what to do. We're trying to understand what you want to do and then tell you the best way and most efficient way to staff it.
Okay, Sylvia, I see you have a comment.
I just wanted to clarify that in all the years that I was involved with land stewardship, which was 20, well, not so much last year, and the year before, the land stewards always took care of their own minutes and they always got their own agenda together. As a staff person, I was staff and I went to the meetings because I was a resident and I was interested. And I came up with the concept of the Land Stewardship Committee because it was pretty clear fairly early on that little was happening with our conservation land because the commission was so overwhelmed with first one big subdivision and another subdivision and another subdivision, all in parallel at the same time. And so the conservation land wasn't being cared for. So we came up with this land stewardship idea, and they really ran with it for a good measure of time until things started to change. But they always did their own minutes. They always did their own agenda. When COVID hit, I was the one that was responsible for getting their Zoom meetings together and giving them the Zoom note, but link. But that, they've never asked me to do any minutes.
Well, I think the world has changed, Sylvia, in terms of minutes. We no longer have to devote a human to hours of transcription.
Right, but I guess what I'm saying is, I'm not sure that the land stewards thought that staff would be putting the minutes together.
I don't know, but I do think one of the issues that we faced over the last year and a half had a little bit to do with disconnect between what land stewards were doing and what CONSCOM was doing, and a better ensuring a more seamless operation, given that land stewards is not a subcommittee, but a daughter organization, if you will, of CONSCOM, ensuring nice, clean communications and seamless operation, I think, is to the town's benefit.
What I thought would be good to have in the charter was that one member of the land stewardship be the treasurer to keep track of the money, to know what they have to work with and as they were going forward, how this money was being spent, and then report to the commission.
We have one budget, right? It's the conservation budget.
And
so it's not a separate budget.
Yeah. I've told the LSC as well. I get monthly reports, and so I can just send those along for LSC to review at each of their meetings. So that would be easy. But yeah, I just want to clarify, I think the word support, my understanding isn't that there would be no support provided. Obviously with LSC, they work so closely with CONSCOM. And of course we share the same files. So there would still be a really, really close collaboration and support. It's just like the secretarial tasks, would be eliminated from what's listed in the charter. That's my understanding. But I think, it sounds like maybe we can sit down together, me, Ryan, Sarah, and some LSC members and whoever else wants to join, maybe someone from CONSCOM, and we can kind of hash this out offline and then bring it back to the full commission and full LSC later.
That seems like a great idea. Yeah.
I agree.
Understand the needs better. And if we can, sorry to harp, but automate that minutes generation process, basically Zoom to inboxes, that would be great too, because, there shouldn't have to be human effort by anybody, whether it's a commission member or a staff member, to create the draft of the minutes.
What IA system do we use currently?
Clerk Minutes from HeyGov, I think. And I've got a user ID for it, and I've looked at it. I've used it personally to see how it works.
So
Listen,
we're looking.
You can give me a training.
That's what we're gonna do.
You shouldn't even need training. No, Ryan, he shouldn't even need training. The minutes should be automatically generated, distributed to everybody for review, seamless process. It should be that easy.
Yeah, so I can tell you the way we're going is clerk minutes or a version of that, depending on cost, because there are better versions that might be cheaper. We'll create a transcript from Zoom, and then we have our own internal AI system that can template the minutes, which is pretty seamless, and it only takes a minute. And if you do that, then the commission will continue to get the same looking and same styled minutes every single time. And then it would just need that review. So I agree with you, but there's a little bit of a step that's needed that isn't
Two-step
too hard to
process.
train.
You might be able, Ryan, to automate that step using IFT, IFFT, or Zapier, which is not expensive, which is a little lightweight, app-to-app workflow tool. You might be able to orchestrate that automatically. It's done for everybody, all 30 boards, and you don't even have to take that extra step or train anybody. I think the biggest issue is the moment you have to train people, now you've got a lot of humans that have to learn what that human step is. And if you can eliminate human steps that are just busy work like that, it's to everybody's benefit. I'd be happy to help if I can be any support.
Okay,
So-
I'm going to take you to every board and we're going to talk about it. And it's going to be great.
You can just look at IFT and Zapier.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
a threat? Wait a minute.
I'll be happy to help, really,
No.
serious.
Well,
No,
the
I like
first step,
ambassadors. Yeah.
All right.
the first step is that we need a subcommittee to go continue to discuss this process. And it sounds like we need LSC, Ryan, Megan, and volunteers from Conscom to get together. And then we can continue the discussion at the next meeting. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yes.
I will coordinate offline with a gathering.
Okay, so I made the motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Melissa, thank you very much.
Thank you,
And
George.
we just have 4 people here, so we're going to continue down this meager lane unless somebody wants to recuse themselves.
You need the rest of the votes, George.
I'm coming there.
Oh,
So Sylvia,
Aye.
Melissa,
aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The motion passes. And thank you too, Ryan.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks for joining in.
We still need
Okay.
2 people.
I know I've been checking. Nobody's here yet for additional folk. So item number 5, it looks like an herbicide discussion. Request to modify herbicide use permit for 2026 to 2028 on Foss Farm in the agricultural license. I hear Farmer Duffy is here. Would you like to state your case, shall we say?
Yes, thank you. As part of Farming Fox Farm, as part of doing IPM, we scout the fields. The company that supplies me and advises me and samples for me scouted Foss Farm and said that nutsedge was growing in Foss Farm, and that the herbicides that I had approval from to use this year were really not going to do a good job against nutsedge, and they would recommend and I'm asking to be able to use a herbicide called Yukon, and it specifically should do a better job addressing the nutsedge, which can be a problem. And we have had nutsedge in fields before, and it has worked. It is not a restricted use pesticide, according to my crop advisor.
So are there any risks that you can identify to using Yukon as opposed to other ones right now?
Well, it would be in addition to what we had agreed to use, that
Okay.
we would add. It's at a rate of 4 ounces per acre, and no, I would say that is certainly following our philosophy, and certainly, a big part of integrated pest management is you want to address issues and you don't want to do things that you don't actually need to use. And so in this case, that's why I brought it to Megan, and she read the agreement, and that's why it's in front of you tonight.
And is there any, schedule issues? Are we too late to apply it now to be effective?
No, we are
Okay.
we are at the end of our spraying. And so Foss Farm would be our last field, and if it is approved, it would be occurring extremely soon.
And timely. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Megan, do you have any additional comments?
No, I think this is just a discretionary thing from the commission, just deciding if they're okay with that herbicide or not. But yeah, the license as it previously was issued didn't allow for the specific herbicide, so I just wanted to have the commission take a look at this and decide if they're okay with it. And if they are, then I can add it as an amendment to the license. But up to you all.
So it would be effective until 2028.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
yeah,
No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any commissioners have additional comments?
Are there any label restrictions that we need to know about? Or?
It is not a restricted use pesticide, according to my advisor who came by today.
Okay.
But having said that, Sylvia, there are always restrictions. And so that's part of my discussion today with them is looking at the heights of the crop, looking at what's going on at Foss Farm, and that's part of what integrated pest management is.
All right. Any members of the public like to comment? Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan DeCock, Oak Knoll Road. I am the garden manager right next to Farmer Duffy, where he's gonna plan to do this. And so I have three things that I wanted to mention. One is, Mr. Duffy, is this the same stuff that's growing all around the community gardens and causing us all kinds of headaches by growing into the gardens through long rhizomes? Do you know? Is that the same stuff, or is that something else?
I'd have to see, Jonathan. I do not know that.
Okay, because that is a horrible plant that I really dislike. So, so that's one thing. The other thing is, I just wanted to comment that Farmer Duffy has always been very good about making sure that there's no drift into the community gardens, and I assume that would continue. If that does, then I don't see any problem with that. But there are some things when I read the Yukon stuff about being very careful about drift. Like they have rules like you can't use it, if the temperature is over 85 degrees or if the wind's faster than 10 miles per hour. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there like that. And then there was one thing that caught my attention, and I don't think it's going to be a problem because when I read up on Yukon, it breaks down fairly quickly. But there is some commentary in the Yukon manual about being careful that it doesn't end up in groundwater. And I think it's the recommendation is that you have a long time, I think at least 8 hours, but preferably multiple days between when you spray it and when it rains next. So just because we did test those wells. But it does break down fairly quickly. So as long as it gets a chance to break down, then I'm sure it won't end up in the groundwater.
In those,
Mark, do you have any? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's part of the discussion I had today with my crop advisor is those issues. So I want to, and I appreciate Jonathan's comments. I want to reiterate. I mean, I appreciate very much that, and I have a responsibility when I use chemicals, and we try very much to address those issues. The one issue that we do run into right now, it's a big discussion in farming is they keep saying chance of rain. And and it's like, okay, so there's a chance of rain. Does that mean it's going to rain or not rain? So we spend a fair amount of time focused on the weather. Obviously we cannot guarantee, but certainly wind is an issue for us. So I appreciate that discussion. That's the kind of discussion that we have before we apply.
So are we gonna get rain tonight, Mark? Okay, never mind.
I hope so.
Yeah, me too. My garden
George?
could use it.
So I just want to
Yes.
comment that as garden manager, I trust Farmer Duffy to do the right thing to keep the gardens in good shape. So I think I'm fine with it.
I think that's pretty clear. Sylvia, you had a comment?
Yeah, just a comment. I think it was last week. My phone app said that there were 5 hours in a row that there was a 10% chance of rain. And so they said there was a 50% chance of rain. They just
Never
added
mind.
it. It
It's
didn't rain.
interpretation. All right. All right. So can I get a motion to have Megan modify the current agreement to include the use of Yukon with appropriate restrictions?
So moved.
Melissa, thank you.
Second.
Sylvia, we'll take a roll call vote after I write out your name there. Megan, just wanted to make sure you're there.
I'm here.
Brian. Brian, yes?
Aye.
Aye. Melissa,
Aye.
Sylvia,
Aye.
chair votes aye, the motion passes.
George?
So Mark, what are you growing in that field there? Is it corn?
Yeah, it's silage corn to feed my cows.
Okay.
We had triticale there, which is a hybrid wheat. We
Yeah.
harvested it, round baled it. We're feeding it to our cows right now, and then we spread manure, and we planted corn, and that's what we're taking care of right now.
Okay, thank you.
Mark, I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the meeting, but in case you weren't, the LSC is holding a site visit at Foss Farm on July 16 at 4, and you are invited to attend.
Okay, 4 p.m. Nothing on the calendar. Thank you for the invite.
All right, moving on. Let's see. Any of the new members show up while I was busy?
Yes, Nick did show up.
And I just heard from Navneet that she'll be in within 5 minutes.
Okay, great. So Nick is in at 8:25. 8:25 and Nabney probably about 8:30. Okay. Moving on. Item number 6. Discuss Greeno Pond level. So we have a lead for this particular discussion.
I guess me.
You win. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I added this to the agenda because following the vote by the commission at our last meeting to allow modification of the Greeno Dam to encourage higher water levels temporarily for water chestnut removal, I got some correspondence from several residents just upstream of there by Brook Street with some concerns. I think one of the big concerns was just that they weren't aware of the meeting and discussion. So I just thought it'd be worthwhile to hear from them, and maybe discuss a little bit of their concerns and what's going on there. Boards were placed by Jonathan and Chris Spinney this Monday, and they can be removed whenever needed. I did go on a site visit to the dam as well as the Maple Street Bridge and kind of along Greeno Pond earlier today with Jonathan and Chris and another abutter from that area. And so obviously I don't have the historical knowledge that you all have on this complex issue. And I intend to inform myself a little better by looking through the files, but today was kind of the first step. So I took more of an observational role, just observing the water levels at each of those points. So what I observed really is that the water is very low in the pond by the dam, and it's pretty high at the Maple Street Bridge right there. and also noticed some beaver dams that seem to be contributing to high water level in some points and low water level in some other points. So that was interesting to see. And I guess I'll just note that we do still have the H&H study going on in this area, and that's scheduled to conclude at the end of the summer, early fall. So hopefully that will give us some data to review as well. But yeah, I mostly just thought it was important to hear from the residents of that area and kind of discuss what's going on and with the water level.
All right. Well,
Again,
there's been.
Did you happen to look at what the water level was on the whiteboard that has the ruler?
Yes, Jonathan, correct me. It was just 310, 3 feet and 10 inches, or 2 feet and 10 inches. Jonathan, you remember?
Feet 10 inches. It's 10
Okay.
inches above normal.
It was set in at 2 feet exactly, and there wasn't a problem when it was at 2 feet.
Yep. So it's 10 inches above normal right now.
Okay.
And
During
Jonathan also sent a report of the area too that I put in the commission packet. And I don't know if you want to speak to anything else since you've been involved in this.
Do you want me to
I guess he doesn't.
give you any information real quick, or?
Sure.
Yeah, so as you know, I asked last time about the removal of water chestnut in the lower pond there because it was so low that it's just mud flats. And so as in fact, you see it in your meeting minutes, I explicitly said that this would have no impact on the abutters who are normally concerned about flooding. And the reason was, and I believe I stated it there, was because of those intervening beaver dams. And so I did create a little graphic. If you guys want to see, I can show it to you about what's going on there.
Sure.
Can you see my screen?
Getting there.
There we go.
So the problem that we have here is the lower pond is so low that that you can't get at the water chestnut, and you can see from this diagram, which is all essentially to scale. These were all measurements that I made when I was out there with Megan this morning. Is that there's this ginormous beaver dam, which is over 31 inches tall, right at the old mill dam site. And the net effect of that is that water is not coming down from the upper pond into the lower pond. And then the lower pond, with the way that it's been arranged with the boards and whatnot, was just letting all the water out that came in. So any water that did manage to get in immediately left. And so we're simultaneously facing two problems here with this beaver dam. One is that the lower pond is too low and is having a negative effect on stuff. And at the same time, the upper pond is way too high. In fact, the trails are underwater. And given that we're in a drought, the fact that the upper pond is too high makes me concerned that it doesn't take a whole lot of rain from here to cause the upper pond to become even higher. And then I think the abutters that are along the Brook Street and whatnot would become very concerned that it would become too high because it's already quite high. And so I think you have two problems going on here. Interestingly, it's one of horse trading, I think, because the people with the upper pond want less water and the people in the lower pond want more water. So if we could just have the water move from one to the other, we'd be all set. So
looks like another beaver deceiver.
So that's me. That's what I have to say.
All right. I see we have some comments from multiple people here. Is Robert McGuinn available?
I am. Good evening. Yeah, Robert McGuine. I'm one of the homeowners on Brook Street. That was part of that email chain that Dr. Mark Bernstein had sent out, another abutter over on Peter Hans Road. So the reason why we wanted to make a public comment, and thank you so much for sharing that diagram. I think that was super helpful. We're where we are concerned about the height of that water at the on Maple Street. So when those water levels are higher, we do have water that backs up into the back of our properties. And as it was kind of discussed today, you know, I went down to the culvert as well. I took a picture of where we were from the measurement standpoint, and on that measuring stick, I saw kind of around that 2 feet 10 inches. Typically at around 3 feet 2 inches is when we start to see some standing water in our backyards, kind of puddling. And I know in prior seasons, I've emailed folks on the commission as well as the town. Usually when it got to about like, we've had moments where it's gone to like 3 feet 6 inches, where it is really, really bad. So our concern when we saw the meeting, the notes from the last meeting, as well as the article in the paper, we were under the impression that if you were going to be adding boards to raise the water level, that the side on the Maple Street, Brook Street side was going to get higher as well. And we were like, we only have, you know, 4 to 5 inches here before we're going to have issues. I will say in the past year or so, the DPW has been super helpful. James Hall, he's had crews kind of going out maybe every week or every 2 weeks to clear debris from underneath the culvert there, because it does start to back up pretty frequently just from things kind of flowing under there, getting stuck and building up, I guess, a fence there, if you will. But yeah, I know. So that was basically our main concern, was that if we were going to be adding these boards in order to keep the water levels high or bring them up higher, I was under the impression, and some of the others, that our side was going to get higher as well. And we were observing that it's already pretty high. So I'm glad that we're kind of talking about this now, and for sharing the diagram, because it sounds like our side shouldn't get higher, but we do want water to leave our side. So I don't know if we should contact James again to see if there's debris to clean up. But yeah, that's kind of where we are, and kind of my thoughts from a public standpoint.
Rob, thank you very much. Jonathan, a quick question. You know, if we do raise the water level, how long do we need the water level up in order to get rid of the invasive plants that we're trying to get rid of? Is it really just like a half a day?
Well, it takes a lot longer than that to raise the water.
No, that I know.
Yeah. So no, the only time that we can work on water chestnut is in July and August. Once we hit August, the plants are already mature and have dropped their nuts, so it doesn't make sense to go out there and try to continue working on them. So it's just the months of July and August, really.
So if we were to add boards now and just monitor the height of the water, and when it gets to a level that we think we can go after the water, the chestnuts, to be able to jump in there in a day and then remove the boards, is that a reasonable approach?
Sure, except the boards that we have here have no impact on the flooding. Because from the diagram that I showed, the boards here are going to raise the lower pond, but they'll have no impact on the upper pond. And the upper pond is the one where there's a concern.
But the upper pond, is that where the water chestnuts are? Or are we going after?
Oh, they're in all the ponds, but given that the upper ponds are already flooded, there's plenty of water for us to paddle around in.
Okay, so you're really interested in the lower pond.
Yeah. Yeah, this is only about the lower pond. The upper pond it's nice that there's so much water in there. It makes it paddling easier. But last year it was a good 10 inches lower than it is right now, and we were still able to do what we needed to do.
Okay.
So it would not be a bad thing if we took water out of the upper pond and let it flow into the lower pond right now.
Sorry, I realized I should have put up a map a while ago. But this is, for anyone who might be confused just listening, this is Maple Street, so this is where the water is high. It flows this way, and then we have the dam right here, and this is where the water is low.
Got it.
It looks to me like Beaver Solutions needs to be on the scene for the Beaver Dam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, does the commission want me to get an assessment for that?
It seems like the only thing we can do, no?
Yeah, I would think so.
Well, so Chris and I were commenting that the beaver dam is something that, people could remove if you guys wanted it to just be removed, and that would lower the water level temporarily up above.
Illegal.
Yeah, that's what Megan said. She said, well, we can't do that without various permits.
And don't forget, this is a rare species habitat. This is Blanding's turtle.
Got it.
Yes. Although I think they like ponds. So.
Yeah.
So is Mark Bernstein here? He had some comments too.
Mark let us know that he's down at Fenway Park as we speak. Hopefully they're doing better than they have been, but so he wasn't able to make it.
Okay. And the other person was Rich.
Rich Fine, that's me.
No. Oh, yes, Rich Fine. Thank you.
I basically agree with everything that Rob said, but in addition, when we have the high water situation, our backyard will tend to flood. The water will surround the well for a longer period of time. And basically, from our point of view, we have a giant bathroom back there for the animals. And the concern is that the water will seep in near where the well is and eventually get down, to the water. And, we don't have any proof of that it's happened so far, but it is possible, especially when it stays there for days. So that's our concern.
Got it. Chris, you have a comment?
Yeah, thanks, George. I know that Beaver Solutions do this stuff for a living, but I do want to mention, there's a lot of conservation projects and sort of limited resources and money. And I think there's easy solutions over at that beaver dam to lower the water level upstream, 8 to 12 inches and just, send it downstream. It seems like we get into this situation where it has to be an emergency. We have to call the planning board to declare it, and that requires killing beavers and putting in the Beaver Solutions, when it seems like if we took some simple steps like putting a pond leveler in, that and these things are not, believe me, they're not rocket science. It's just basically burying a pipe inside the beaver dam, and then the beavers build around it. There's lots of guidance on how to do these things. So I'm just, and I guess I will just add that some of the stuff is kind of fun to do for a project. So I mean, I just think that outsmarting the beavers is a bit of a challenge, but spending a lot of money on Beaver Solutions when they're going to charge us $2,500 to put in $150 worth of materials into the beaver dam. It's just, I don't know. It seems like, I know there's everybody wants to get a professional opinion, but there are simple ways to lower the water levels than that. And there's lots of guidance on how to build these things online and published by the state on how to do them. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I was gonna make a similar comment there, Chris, that if we're not allowed to touch the beaver dam, one other way about doing this is you could just set up a siphon to go around it. And that would lower the water level without touching the beavers. And so, Chris and I are both engineers. I'm sure we can dream up 100 different ways to address this problem. But we can't do anything unless we get, all the various permissions. But I do agree with Chris that I don't like this pattern that we get into of, it has to be an emergency before we can do anything, and then we have to do drastic things that are very expensive. It seems like, we know the beavers always build here, so why can't we do something in advance that's proactive and be sane about this? It's the kind of the same thing with the DPW is clearing the debris underneath Maple Street. Like, if they're allowed to clear that debris, why aren't we allowed to clear other debris?
Yeah,
So,
it feels like Groundhog's Day.
yeah.
Is that kosher, Megan? Can we do something like that if we, as a board, as a committee, approve some engineered siphoning mechanism?
I think it's possible. I just have to look at what like regulations and what you're allowed to do and what permitting or is required, if any. Yeah, I think so, but I just have to check. I don't want to say, yeah, of course we can just go ahead and then there's a bunch
Because
of other
if we
steps.
could devise something and get the approvals and permitting, it could be something in perpetuity so that like when these issues arise, oh, this is the DeCock spinny siphon and we just we use this. And
Yeah, mind you, that's not a
whenever.
long-term solution. As soon as it freezes
No,
in the winter, it's going to
but
fail.
like,
So,
but you know what I mean, that we don't have to, like, as you're saying, wait for an emergency to, we can address something so it doesn't become an issue for our citizens of Carlisle and
Or
we
the
can then
beavers.
Yeah.
and then we can work on a fiscally sound way of addressing it more.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Can I ask a question of the person who has the well that's nearby? How close is the water getting to your well?
It depends on how high the water is, of course.
Like right now?
Right now, it's not bad at all.
Okay.
Right now,
When it does get bad, I mean, that is considered an emergency situation that you can get permits from the Board of Health, because Board of Health has to weigh in on this as well. The next thing that I wanted to point out is, I don't know what your plans are yet, maybe you don't even, but that I've stood on that beaver dam that you're talking about during a Conservation Restriction Advisory Committee review of the property that's on one side of that mill site, and that's private property. The property on the other side of that mill site is, Greeno public land. So just be careful if you're thinking of going on either side of that spillway or that mill site, that you get the property owner's permission.
yes, he was there with us today.
Oh, he was.
Yep.
So maybe if I work kind of offline with Jonathan and Chris and try to figure out a couple maybe solutions to get water to bypass that beaver dam, and then maybe try to present that to the commission later, once I'm more informed on what the processes would be and what solutions could work here. Does that sound
That
good
sounds
to
reasonable
everyone,
to me.
including Jonathan and Chris, because I just volunteered to work with you too?
Yes.
We're volunteers. We're used to being voluntold.
Okay, great.
I watched some of their installation at Greeno. They did, well, we had all the permits, but they did remove the dam before they put it in. So it's all part of it, which you have to be very careful of, because all of a sudden you've got a lot of water going from one spot to another. It can cause problems downstream.
Right.
And
Which makes the siphon idea even
Right.
more attractive because it's a more measured.
Yeah, not all of these things are created equal. Some are just simple, pond levelers, or, we don't actually destroy the beaver dam. We actually don't want to destroy the beaver dam because that would do a lot of like instantaneous damage. But
yes, it does.
you can sort of modify the beaver dam to put this thing in it. And it seems like it's done quite often in a lot of different places. So it's just a question of figuring out that permit. But it would really be taking the first, making a notch in the beaver dam of about 10 inches and putting a pipe in there to let it overflow and then set it won't drain, it wouldn't be like removing the whole beaver dam. It would just be setting something in there to let some of the water pass it.
All right.
Depending on what we do, the beavers would come back that night and undo it, but we'd let some water out.
Well, that's why they put the cages around them, the ends.
Right.
Good point.
And Rich and Rob and Mark, who's not here, I can keep you guys in the loop. So if we end up discussing this again at our July meeting, I can let you know about it and also send you any materials we may have so you have time to review it and make sure you're up to date with what's going on and involved in the discussion.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Rob, did
Thank
you have
you.
more to say, or I saw your hand going up or waving anyway?
Oh, no, I just did a clap emoji because I liked what
Oh,
she said.
okay.
That's all. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, to the commission, can I get a motion to move this forward?
I moved. Yeah.
I need some words. I've been doing it all myself, so
I move to let Megan work with Jonathan and Chris on exploring mechanisms to manage pond levels, water levels, and present it at subsequent meetings.
Second,
Needs to be in touch with the Board of Health as well.
Yes.
with
Second that.
BOH. Okay. All right. Can we get a roll call vote, please? Brian, you seconded, correct?
Correct.
All right. So Navneet,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Melissa,
Aye.
Sylvia,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan and Chris.
George, you should note the time that Navneet and Nick arrived.
I have logged it down, and actually I stated it for the notes verbally. Okay, let me just say that Navneet and Nick, we've saved an article for you, item number 2,
Thank you
Noel
so
Farm
much.
Road. We wanted to wait until you were with us, so I think we'll continue on and jump back to that, unless there's someone who would like to discuss that now and before they fall asleep. I don't know if there's a
I feel
member
like
of the
maybe we should
public
jump back to the public hearing.
right now. Okay, so we should go to item number 2,
Yeah.
and let me repeat.
Yes.
Public hearing notice of intent DEP file 125-1212. This is 253 Noel Farm Road, parcel 1-61-20K. The applicant is Edward Theonis. The project description is construction of an addition to an existing single-family home, construction of a retaining wall, driveway relocation, mitigation planting within the 100 buffer zone to BVW. And this is continued from 11 June earlier this month. So, Megan, you had a summary. I don't know if the Edward is still with us, would like to start first.
Yeah, I know the applicant had some revisions since the last meeting, some revisions to the plan based on our feedback. So I think if their representative wants to present that, then that would be a good start.
Good evening. Dave Crossman, BNC Associates, representing the applicant. So there were a number of items that were to be added to the plan, and we have submitted that revised plan to you. I'm not really sure the order of which you wanted to go through it, but There was just a number of details on the plan, that distances and so forth, that were to be added.
I think we have a map coming up.
Yeah.
Aha. So, do you want to describe the changes based upon what we're looking at here? Dave?
Yeah. So we added, you wanted marked on the plan the closest point of disturbance, which I believe is 9 feet.
Right.
Along the retaining wall, somewhere near the retaining wall. So I'm just gonna zoom in there a little bit.
Is it marked? I actually don't see it marked on the plan. Am I missing it? Should be right by wetland flag 5, right?
Right. It looks like 6 feet.
Yeah, I think
6 feet grading. It used to say 9 feet. Not. What would I know?
So actually, before on the old plan, there was no distance there, so that would be, so it's, the grading comes down to within 6 feet from what, flag number 5.
got it.
Which is
So
also,
that's the closest point of disturbance, 6 feet.
right, the proposed retaining wall and wetland flag 5 is 6 feet. Which would also be the nearest limit of work. Should be the same thing, because that wetland flag 5 is the closest flag to the proposed work. As you can see, when you go to the right or left of flag 5, everything is going away from that. The distance gets further away from the erosion controls. The erosion controls are the heavy black line.
Yeah, sorry, this is Edward Tonis here. I think the request was to mark the distance of disturbance to wetland flag 5, which is the 6 foot, but the wall, I think we talked about last week, was something like 8'6".
Yes. Well, the first question was the closest point of disturbance between the proposed limit of work and nearest wetland flag. So that's the 6 feet. The
That's right.
distance between the proposed retaining wall and wetland flag is 8 feet 6 inches.
What was that?
Then there was a question about the square footage. Which I thought they were gonna.
Here it is. Sorry. Bear
Yeah.
with me.
Okay, so the proposed addition is 2172 square feet, and the driveway is 1,820 square feet. The existing driveway is 2,197 square feet. So we are reducing the amount of driveway, which will be taken up by the addition, because a lot of the addition is in the driveway itself. The house is remaining the same at 1,595 square feet.
Well, the house will, I think the square footage of the house will go to 2172. Like that'll be the square foot looking top down.
So the total after the addition is 2172.
That's right.
Let's see. And then another comment was about the trees proposed for removal. So I just asked for those to be marked on the plan. So I think I counted that there was 10 trees that are now marked.
All those, right, the trees are all say TBR, to be removed.
Right.
There's
To them.
here.
So most of those,
Blacktop. Yep.
right. Most of those are in the area of construction, and there is the one with the big pine tree that fell down in the storm just before our site walk.
Yeah.
It's out at the edge of the drainage area. And we are removing that tree so that, you know, that tree is on the site plan. That was, I think, number 5, to add that to the site plan. So the area, I don't know if you asked to be put on the plan, but the area between the addition and the retaining wall will be permeable, not impervious. And we are not removing any of the trees for the construction of the drainage line. So that drainage line is all in, well, part of it is in lawn and the rest of it's in the ferns, some of the ferns that were back there, but there's no woody vegetation that would be coming out in that drain line. So there was also the roof drain line. We added the roof drain line to the footing, the house drain line to the same, they're going in the same ditch, and they'll daylight at the same spot. But there was a question about what are we doing with the roof runoff from the gutters. So we are adding gutters to the site.
Is that specified in the plan?
Yeah.
I was looking at the write-up that Megan has in here, and they're supposedly going to include about 40 shrubs and a handful of perennials. But do we know where they're going to go? And is there
Well, we provided a planting plan with the initial filing from our landscape architect.
Yeah.
And that area is all on the slope, in the area of wetland flag number 5 and both sides down in that area to add additional protection to the resource area.
Okay. So Megan, did that look reasonable when we looked at it originally? I must admit, my memory is fading. I'm too old.
I mean, it's a good amount of restoration plantings, all native shrubs, which I think in theory is a good attempt at mitigating the removal of the 10 trees that they're proposing. I guess what I think might be helpful for the commission, sorry, I took down the site plan, I can put it back up. But maybe what might be helpful, because this project is so close to the wetland, and like I mentioned at the last meeting, I know the commission is has an ongoing project to revise the wetland bylaw to include a no disturbance zone. So when reviewing projects that have an impact 6 feet from the wetland, I think if someone on behalf of the applicant could explain what steps we're taking or can be taken to minimize impact on the wetland. So in terms of maybe some of the site restraints of the property, like, is there a reason why the addition couldn't go somewhere else where it would be further from the wetland? Is there a way so that the impact to the wetland isn't closer than the existing impact? So like the distance from the wetland to the house right now, I don't know exactly what it is, but is there a way to kind of keep an addition close to that distance away from the wetland rather than encroaching 6 feet or 8 feet, if you're talking about the permanent retaining wall. So I'm just hoping maybe that can be explained a little bit to help the
Well,
commission make a decision here.
we could have put the addition in the back of the house when we have more upland. However, the driveway itself would have to, because our septic system is located on the I don't know which side that is, north or east side of the property. There's our driveway would have to come around the wetland corner of the house, close to that corner, and it would bring us to make that curve, would put us in extremely close proximity to the wetland itself. So we wouldn't really gain anything. Well, I guess basically our work would be just as close to the wetlands as it is now, just to bring the driveway, and there'd be much more land disturbance on the site to bring it around to the back of the house. More the same amount of buffer zone disturbance. There's no real minimizing the amount of work in the buffer zone.
Well, the buffer zone is encompasses basically the whole site.
Right.
So you're saying that if the commission said, no, sorry, this project can't go forward because we are within 6 feet of wetland flag number 5, and that kind of goes against the commission's mandate to protect the wetlands, right? To be so close and disturb the area, that there's no way whatsoever that you could change this even slightly to get 4, 5, 6, whatever, 10, 20 feet more away from the wetlands. There's nothing that can be done. Is that what you're
That slope runs pretty close around the edge of the house at that point. And we would still be putting a retaining wall just to stabilize a driveway to make it around the corner of that house. And all the land that is impervious in the front of the house with the driveway would become, you'd be adding additional impervious area to get around to the back of the house. With moving the driveway, the driveway is being eaten up somewhat by the new addition. So we're reducing impervious area on the site. We can't get away from the proximity to the wetlands because we're confined to that corner of the house, coming around the corner of the house. The septic system is on the other side, and we can't drive over the septic system. Tanks are right next to the house.
So is the reason why you're saying the driveway would have to loop around, if the addition went in the back, the driveway would have to get close to the wetland anyway? Is it because the addition is partly a garage, so that's why you need driveway access? It's not just like like
Right,
a
it's an
kitchen or
addition,
something like that.
Right, there's a garage. The addition's got a garage as part of the addition.
Okay.
Oh, we need some experience here. Where's Sylvia?
Sylvia has to recuse herself from this one.
I'm just curious. Go ahead. Sorry.
I want Carlilians to be able to improve their property in ways that is important to them, but I also don't like the 6 feet. I'm just like it's, and this is why we're working so diligently on trying to revise our bylaws, because we don't have that right now. And so Megan, I'm looking to you for some advice too, and the other commissioners, how they feel, but 6 feet bothers me.
I find 6 feet really unacceptable, and I think that, that there are other alternatives for them on this lot. They just don't choose to use them. And I think we need a third party to look at this project and help us make a decision. Because
I mean, yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Brian. I mean, we have
I don't think Dave Crosland is independent on this.
Yeah.
he's representing the applicant. And to me, this is just like this never should be happening. And again, as you say, Navneet, it's because we don't have a bylaw. But 6 feet, seriously? I mean, I remember on Bingham we were fighting
Exactly.
over 15 or 20 feet.
Yep.
This proposed addition is not obligatory. You know, it's something the applicant wants to do and is presenting to us. And I just find it to be really offensive to the Wetlands Protection Act.
Yeah, I agree with both of those voiced concerns, and I think to the point that Navneet was driving at, I think a lot of times, and I'm not saying that it's happening here, but I think that a lot of times people say like we have to do this or this is the only option, and it's less that that's really the only option, and it's more it's just what they want to do, and the alternatives are things that are unappealing for other reasons, which is valid. I'm not trying to belittle that. And I agree, like we want to try to allow people to do things they want to do. But I think that there is a distinction between this is the only option and this is the option that we want. And it can't be modified within what we want without getting it away from further away from the wetlands. And I think that this is a tough one to swallow. And so I would try to push the parties to really consider, is this really the only option, bearing in mind that if you stand fast on that, the answer may be no.
So
And for the applicant, this has come up before, so I want, we are consistent. I know that feels like, well, exceptions are given. Exceptions are given when there is like the use of the property is not, you're like a septic system that needs some give, because otherwise the property is uninhabitable. That's a very different conversation. We've had other applications where they want to put in an attached garage because they're growing older and they don't want to have to deal with the snow. And we've said no because it's within feet of the wetlands. So we're trying to be consistent as well, and hopefully this consistency will make more sense when we do have bylaws. But I agree with Nick, if you could look at this again and really be thoughtful, because this doesn't sit well.
Yeah, so I'm Edward Tonis. I'm the applicant. I think I can talk a little bit about, some of the thought process of why and where. So, as you can see, the whole thing is within the buffer region. And, we also have the 40-foot setbacks and the existing septic system. The kind of reasoning here is, this is already very close to the wetlands. Even the driveway right now, I think is something like 15 feet from the wetlands right now. But to build the driveway, it was graded up. And so when we're talking about like, oh, what's the distance of the disturbance region to the wetlands? Like, if you measure what's the existence of the disturbance region right now to the wetlands, it's 6 feet. Like, I mean, you go look there and you see the way it grades down right into the wetlands, like that's the disturbance region. That's where the driveway is. And the thinking is, well, instead of having this kind of boulder and dirt, slope, you put in a retaining wall to kind of hold it more vertically and kind of reduce the kind of sinking of the driveway, which seems to be happening right now anyways. I went with an architect and kind of explored a lot of different ideas about positioning of things and how to build it and how to place it. And, our reasoning was essentially, this is the area that's already been disturbed, putting it in the backyard, you're kind of getting to area that was never disturbed before, you're getting closer to wells and other things like that. So, putting it closer to the road, keeping the driveway short, that was kind of the rationale.
Well, it's a quandary.
Yeah, it's a lot like a puzzle. This whole project was kind of, where and how. And, after a lot of kind of permutations, this is kind of where we thought was most rational. And, I'll note that like the size of the house after the addition is going to be something like 2,400, feet of finished space. Like we already kind of went through some rounds of reduction with the architect saying like, well, like you should probably pull it back and things like that. So we have been trying to be very conservative about the size.
So Megan, are you in control of this plot? Can you zoom out?
Yes.
Even more. So where are the lot lines in this property? So is that black line right there?
Yeah,
on
the
the
solid
street,
line. Yep.
and then way down here. Okay.
Mhm. I
So that's
guess
all
maybe if it's
in the wetlands.
helpful, I can just note something. So, in order to really deny a project, the rationale has to be that the proposed project would threaten the interests of the Wetlands Protection Act, those interests being the wetlands' ability to prevent storm damage, help with flooding, provide
Habitat
wildlife
for flora.
habitat.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
exactly. Prevent pollution, um, things like that. So I guess that's the lens that the commission should be thinking through. So will this project prevent the wetland from functioning in those ways? And I think maybe that's also something that the applicant can consider. Maybe providing rationale or explaining why they think it won't would be helpful. Unless the commission already has a clear idea. But I just wanted to outline, kind of like according to the regulations, how a project can be denied is if the proposed project threatens those functions of a wetland. So just wanted to put the lens out there for consideration.
I don't think we've ever allowed anything within 6 feet of a wetland. I would like to see some alternatives. In fact, I'm looking at this, and on the right, it looks like there's a swing set play area and a shed. Why couldn't the structure go in that direction?
We do have a setback distance
Yeah.
from the sideline setback.
And the well is there as well.
Yeah.
You can have a structure by a well. You just can't have a septic system. So
Right.
I would like to see some alternatives because I think this is really unacceptable. And unfortunately, we don't have a bylaw in place, which would probably make a 50-foot minimum setback, or at least a 25. But there's just no reason to allow something with such a minimum setback and to set the precedent, because everybody else will want to do it afterwards.
I want to just highlight Megan's point. So if like the drainage off the roof, things like that, if you can speak to that, because I also don't, yeah, I want to do things to the letter of the law and to the act, to the Wetlands Protection Act, in the absence of updated bylaws. So if someone can speak to that now, or if you want to sort of put that together and come back, whatever.
I think I can talk a little bit about the drainage concept. So, originally we were thinking to kind of have less gutters and less kind of concentration of the water from the roof to kind of allow it to distribute. And based on what we're thinking about the roof directions, some of it would be kind of draining, falling more towards the septic side. So you kind of reduce the total kind of quantity that's kind of falling on one side versus the other. And then there was some kind of feedback about, well, maybe this will be an erosion thing and maybe you should be capturing it. So, that's why we're kind of gathering it and trying to put it in the exact same trench that's already going to be necessary for the foundation wall pipe collection for the underwater drain and to try to reduce that disturbance. But, I think that there's kind of a trade-off of which direction you want the water to fall, where you want the water to fall, how spread out you want the water to fall. I think it's fine to have a gutter or not a gutter on this project from a usefulness or, it doesn't really impact the use of it to me. I know a lot of deck houses didn't have gutters when they were originally constructed. I put one on the back of my house when it was dripping and causing things to rot, and then I distribute that across the grass, kind of like I forget the word for it, but it's kind of like a rain garden kind of concept where it's just spread out on the turf. But this is more of a guttered collected thing as drawn now with this RD for I think roof drain and FD for foundation drain is the labeling there.
But I think our issue is different. The structure is too close to the wetland. It's not just the drainage.
Yeah, so I'll note that, the structure itself is 14 feet from the wetlands. Then the wall, the base of the wall is 8.5 feet from the wetlands, but the ask was, they said, what is the distance of disturbance to the wetlands? And the distance of disturbance right now is 6 feet from the wetlands, and distance of disturbance after the project will be 6 feet. Because it's already been disturbed. You go to the bottom of that grade and you measure, okay, here's the grade of the existing driveway. It stops here. The wetland starts there. That's the 6 feet. That's the number that we're reporting here. If you talk about the wall,
structure, you're not talking about a structure. You're talking about an impervious layer of a driveway. It's very different than having a structure there.
No, but the structure is not at 6 feet. The structure is at 14 feet or something like that. The wall is at 8.5 feet, and the disturbance, the existing disturbance is 6 feet.
So Megan, according to the what is it, public and private water supply, flood control, fisheries, and that's not an issue, a couple others that I can't remember. In your professional evaluation, are any of those kind of reasons to deny a project of concern to you right now, looking at the way this is set up so far or presented so far?
Yeah, it's tough, right? I mean, the science says, the literature says that when you propose work within 30 feet from the wetland, then it's likely to alter the wetland in one of those 8 ways. That's what the science says. And that's why so many municipalities have bylaws, is because it's backed by that science. So there's that, but I also I do I tend to side with the science, but I do sympathize with the property owner if there is already existing disturbance and if you're not really if you're not encroaching more in the wetland and you're just maintaining that same distance as exists. I've seen that a lot of bylaws do allow that, as long as you're not getting closer to the wetland and you're within 25 feet. Then sometimes that's like an exemption I've seen in bylaws, but I do think sometimes it is case by case. So it's really hard for me to say definitively. I think it's really, a commission decision, but I do wonder if it would be worth organizing a site visit so that you could see the site in person and see the existing wetland and the existing conditions of where the driveway is, and maybe you'll decide it's already so close and the proposal's fine, or maybe you'll decide, no, we think this would really alter the wetland and its ability to function under the Wetlands Protection Act. But I think sometimes seeing it in person helps to make a definitive decision. I just think maybe that would be the route to go if people are feeling undecided right now. Yeah, so if you're all undecided, that would be my recommendation going forward. But if you feel like you have enough information tonight, then obviously go forward with how you wish. But
One more question. In one of the letters, there was this concern about an addition of a bathroom or something and increase flow to the leaching field. Is that a concern? Because I'm assuming that the Board of Health is approving this additional bathroom to the septic, or that's allowed to the existing septic system.
yeah, so that's not really in our jurisdiction. If
Oh, no, I
say
know, but I'm
did
just sort of
approve-
thinking
yeah.
broadly, just.
You can have,
Yeah.
you could have 50 bathrooms in your house. It's okay. That doesn't affect the septic system. Septic system is based on the number of bedrooms. And if you want to have 50,
That's what I thought. That's no,
bathrooms
Brian, I
in a row.
understand that. I totally understand that. I'm just an abutter wrote that in their letter, so I'm trying to understand, is there something I'm missing here?
Well,
That's what
We're not
I was-
adding,
I was gonna say, even so, if the commission approved the plan and then it ended up later that they had to go through Board of Health to, update the septic system, they would have, and
That'd
it's
be
all in the
their
buffer zone. They'd
jurisdiction.
have to come back to us and then you would re-review the plan. So
Mhm.
right now, I think we just, because nothing has been submitted to Board of Health for this.
Yeah.
So we kind of work with what we know and what we have.
but we're not adding any bedrooms to the project. So there's no change to the septic system design, no need to change the design or location.
My style is to ask questions I think I know the answer to, and so I know that. Just letting everybody know.
Yep.
Okay. I am just trying to address the concerns that came up in these letters and put it in the public record what the answers are.
So I think we need a third party to look at this because it's, I agree a site visit would be good. And maybe after that, we'll come back and we need an expert to look at this because I'm just really concerned about this setback to the wetland. And for me, I just worry about setting a precedent that we're, okay, so you allowed 6 feet. So the next person wants 5 feet and then 3 feet. We're going the wrong direction.
Well, I agree with you, Brian, and I think that we need an expert opinion on what the impact would be for what's proposed here. And that's kind of there must be some history of other towns around here that have some, recommendations or had tried things before that succeeded or failed. Can we do a little sort of literature search to see how people handle very small distances from the wetlands? Is there a library of that sort of thing, Megan, that we can go
I mean,
research?
as I mentioned earlier, I'm familiar with like a few other towns' bylaws and how they handle proposed work in within 25 or 30 feet from the wetland. I can continue to look through those for suggestions and guidance on how the commission might want to handle this. Yeah, I can look into that.
Okay, so I think at this time, I'm not prepared to make a decision one way or the other. I'd like to continue this. I would appreciate a site visit to see what the wetland conditions are that are so close to where the construction is going to be. What kind of plants are impacted? What's the slope? Just be able to get a handle on what the impact of water motion would do to that property. So I don't think we need to say no right now, but I think we need to take a further look.
And I'd like to just state again, I really do sympathize with the homeowner. Like I really do understand that your rationale that this is already disturbed this much. So I'm just doing this and it's the same disturbance, the net disturbance is the same. I do understand that. But I just hope you understand our sort of two wrongs don't make a right kind of concept too, right? So just trying to be thoughtful about it. And I hope the scheduling of the site visit, I'm able to attend.
Do you want to schedule it right now?
Sure. Where's my?
It's always easier than over email, for me at least.
Can we do this after the Woodward Village site walk?
Oh, true. Yeah, when was that? Tuesday.
So that was the 30th?
Tuesday at 2.
Tuesday
June 30th.
the 31st, so what, like 3
The
o'clock?
30th. The 30th.
Oh, the 30th, sorry.
Only 30 days in June.
Thank you.
That's all right.
I knew it was the last day of June.
I'm sorry, what time? I heard two different people say two different times.
Can we do 3 p.m.?
I wouldn't be able to make that time. I'm in.
Oh, what time would propose
The
time
day
works
next
for you?
week I would be able to do is the second, which is Thursday, probably around 4 o'clock if I finish.
I can do that.
But we lose George and we lose Sylvia.
Sylvia can't attend anyways because she's recused.
Oh, yeah. But we lose George, right? He'll be in Maine.
No.
I need to look at a calendar to tell you the truth.
It's next Thursday, George, on the 2nd.
No, I understand. So
Oh, yeah,
I've
okay.
written the date down. I don't have my calendar available at the moment. So why don't you go ahead and schedule that and I'll see what I can do. I'll be in town that date. So we may see if we can work it out.
So
Was
sorry,
it
that's
better?
Thursday the 2nd?
The 2nd at 4 p.m.
I'll be gone, sorry, but you guys can do it without me.
Oh, you'll be gone too.
I'm out of town all next week, so schedule around me.
Is
4th
Monday?
of July. We
Okay.
could do it the next week. I mean, it's not critical.
Right.
There's no failed septic system. It's an addition.
Well, I'm going to Maine on the 5th, and the 4th is a holiday.
When do you come
You
back?
mean, you mean the week, not this coming one, but the one after.
The one after, right?
So
I'm coming back,
why don't we schedule 2? So for the people who can make it on the 2nd at 4 o'clock, great. And then
Okay.
I can go out again with whoever wants to go the next week, if that's something you all want to do.
So should we pick that day? Because that would be George and me, and I don't know who else. And by the way,
Yes.
someone else is coming back, George.
I'll bring my dog. We'll be okay. Okay. But one quick thought. And this really is for you, Edward. I'm in a situation where I've been in my house for 40 plus years, and I had some nice neighbors behind us, and a landlocked lot that had a very 19-foot wide driveway that went back to the not quite 2 acres. And what happened was the neighbor wanted to move behind me, and he sold a 4-foot wide strip all the way along his border, which allowed the property to be developed because it met the zoning requirements on acreage. Is there any flexibility on your neighbors that you can maybe work a deal? I'll give you a little section over here, and I'll take and you'll have the other one. It's something that you could consider.
Believe it or
I'm
not,
not saying it'll work.
yeah, believe it or not, I actually considered such a concept, but my neighbor, who I haven't proposed this to, their frontage is at the minimum size already, so it would turn their lot non-conforming if they swapped land. I mean, and plus that would be beyond the septic anyway, so it gets, yeah, part of the.
Okay, all right. It was just a thought, past experience. Sometimes it works. All right. So can I get a,
There's a hand up, George.
George, there's a hand up, yeah.
who's got it? Where is it?
Caitlin Broman.
Oh, Caitlin.
Yeah, hi, hi. Thanks for having me back again. I don't know that this is helpful. I just part of the discussion tonight was all about the recusal of Sylvia, and I was just curious how that recusal happened and if the property sold, which it's under construction, if that would change this discussion. And again, I'm trying to be helpful.
Yeah, sure, I can speak to that. Sylvia had a relative who lived next door and she just didn't feel comfortable being involved in the public hearing. So that was really her decision. So even if the property has sold, she still continues to choose to recuse herself just in case to avoid any conflict of interest or any perceived conflict of interest.
Oh, okay. So, God, I should turn on lights in this house. Sorry. I joined this call when it was totally light, but this has been a really long call. So, okay. So this was not a legal thing from the town. It was nothing. It was just a personal opinion. And so there's no way to undo it if she wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, we're guided by Massachusetts conflict of interest law, but she wasn't told by someone to recuse herself. It was a choice she made in order to comply with that law.
Okay, and if
Yeah.
council Ogden agrees, then that makes sense.
I'm not the town council.
Oh, you want to be?
Nope.
No, I'm not surprised. All right. So do we need to make a motion here to delay the proceedings until site visits have been accomplished and additional research into historically allowed or disallowed access to buffer zones? Go ahead, Navneet. Your words are better than mine.
No, they're really not. I propose to continue the public hearing for DEP file 125-1. Our next meeting, which is July
16th?
16th, yeah.
I think the 16th.
Yes.
Because
I second that.
Nick schooled us on that, all of us, how to use the webpage. It's awesome. Thanks.
Okay.
Between my sneezes, I seconded that.
Oh, thank you. So we'll take a roll call vote, and I won't call Sylvia. Navneet,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Melissa,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The motion passes. Thank you all.
And I'll send an email about the site visits. So far, I have Thursday, the 2nd, 4 p.m. on the books.
Yep.
I can coordinate with others for the following week if you want to get out. And also, obviously, the property owner.
All right.
All right.
Before you go, can you give me the
Mhm.
Woodward Village date and time again?
Yes. It is June 30th, Tuesday, June 30th, 2 p.m. Cypher.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Continuing on. Item number 7. It's now 8:05 according to my agenda, but it's really 9:36. We need to vote to accept the Woodward Village pedestrian trail easement and public access easement for its legal document. Now this looks pretty straightforward. Megan, do you want to, well, do we have someone from the applicant?
I think it's me.
Okay.
Yeah, so the commission reviewed the trail easement at the April 23rd meeting. Didn't have any problems with it, so it went to town council. They reviewed it and also didn't have any problems with it. Same with the trails committee, they also reviewed it and thought it was good. So now town council has provided guidance that the commission authorize this final document through vote and signature. You might remember at the time there was also a covenant document that you all reviewed, and there was a few comments that we provided to be incorporated. And so those were incorporated, but town council recommended that just the select board authorize that document, so we don't have to. So tonight we would just have to authorize the trail easement legal document. And so a motion tonight would mean that you guys would have to come into the office and actually sign the paperwork, old fashioned. So we'll have to organize that afterwards, but just a heads up on that.
So do we need to make a motion, or you would just give us dates and whatever, and we can come in and scribble our signatures?
I think a motion is appropriate, yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
So can I get a motion to agree to sign the trail easement and also the public assessment easement document?
So moved.
Moved.
Second.
Me. Everybody else is there, so that's good. So we'll start with Sylvia.
Aye.
Let's see, Melissa.
Aye.
Brian.
Aye.
Sorry. Nick.
Aye.
What?
I say you don't have a lot of choices.
Navneet.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, the motion passes. Thank you. All right, I'm going to start this discussion and then I'm going to go put the dog in a crate. Item 8, authorize conservation administrator to sign herbicide treatment proposal. So, Megan, you want to describe? I've read it, so I'll be back in a minute.
Sounds good. Yes, let me share my screen real quick for everyone.
Ready to go to bed? Really late.
Okay, so the commission agreed or approved of a scope of work for herbicide treatment on 3 of our conservation lands, as seen here, Cranberry Bog, Greeno, and Toll. So I solicited 3 proposals from different vendors. 2 of these vendors have seen the sites before, one of them has not. Kind of a varied degree of pricing here. But it might be obvious, but I would recommend going with the cheapest one from Oxbow Associates, and they also are familiar with the sites and have been to them before. So I feel like a win-win that they've seen the sites and they also have the lowest bid.
I'm not surprised at this spread. I'm very familiar with a couple of these companies. So yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, you normally always want to go with the lowest one unless you have some reason to believe that it's like outrageously low and problematic and given the spread. But wow, Megan, you're comfortable with these folks? You don't think this is a absurd estimate?
No, I don't think so. And they also treated they were the vendor that did the Cranberry Bog the last 2 times, and I think they've also done Toll.
That is correct.
Yeah, and I haven't heard any bad reviews of their work.
Okay, great.
I mean, Oxbow and Water and Wetland are closer. I mean, I think that goes along with the kind of work that the different companies do, this different pricing.
The one thing that we need to do, especially at Toll, is to know when he's coming out so we can put some signs up to warn people.
Good idea. Yep.
So do you need a motion to agree to go with the herbicide proposal from Oxbow?
Yeah, I was hoping for a motion to authorize me to sign the proposal for Oxbow if that's who you decide.
I think
Okay.
that
So I
makes,
can, yeah, I can sign the proposal and then we can use FY26 funds. With the signed proposal, we can encumber the funds and then have the work executed this summer.
all right. Can I get a second?
Second.
Melissa, thank you. And we'll take a quick roll call vote. Navneet,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Brian. Is he still here?
Looks like he stepped away.
I don't see. Oh yeah, it's empty. Okay. Continuing down the list, Melissa
Aye.
and Sylvia.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, so the motion passes. Without Brian.
Thank you, Megan.
All right. Item number 9, update of conservation land mowing bid process. I see we have for each field, this is the recommendations on the costs for both mowing and edge clearing. So the proposal was submitted, and I gather Jonathan and Farmer Duffy. Is there have two
Yeah,
proposals?
so
Sorry, go ahead. You
no,
please
it's okay.
summarize.
I sent the scope of work that you all approved of to 4 vendors, and I heard back from 2, Jonathan and Mark Duffy. I think Jonathan has since semi-backed out, but I don't want to speak for him. So maybe he can confirm that. But yes, I can pull up Mark's proposal. Let me pull this up. And then after that, I can go over funds that we have available if the commission is curious.
Yeah, please do. And Brian, sorry, we moved on to item number 9, and we passed the previous one, just so you know.
I can
I'm
pull up
sorry,
the
George,
actual
I couldn't hear
proposal,
you.
but oh, sorry.
Did you say my name, George?
Yeah, we just passed item 8, authorized conservation administrator to sign the herbicide treatment proposal. And we had a majority, so we passed that while you were out of the room.
Sorry about that. I also joined that majority.
Okay. So go ahead,
I
Megan.
had to go speak to my son. I'm very sorry.
Well, more important than my dog. Yeah. Keep going, Megan.
Better English, I can tell.
Okay, sorry. I was just gonna say I put the pricing in a chart. I'm happy to pull up the actual proposal as well. But just kind of ignore the cranberry bog one though, because it's dependent on a lot of factors. But the mowing and edge clearing one is more concrete, so it's easy to look at and understand. But essentially we have a price of 15,600 for mowing of those 4 fields, which would be 2 times a year. We do have money in the budget to support that. And then the edge clearing would probably have to be a FY27 thing. We don't have room in FY26 to support that. And then similarly, the cranberry bog, because it wouldn't even be mowed until the fall/winter in FY27. I thought it was best to kind of hold off on that too, but it's good that we have the pricing so we can be proactive on that management if we decide to seek it.
It would be this fall in 26. December 26?
Yes, but it would be FY27. Sorry.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
So can I just mention, and Sylvia could confirm this, there's a year, I'm sorry if I'm going to make it up, 2023, 2024, that Duffy did the work, submitted the bill, and we never paid him.
No, that was something totally different.
I know, but I'm just saying, I'm glad he's moving forward, but we still have some old obligation, I think, morally, if not fiscally.
Yeah, actually, I thought I heard that it turned out we didn't have a financial obligation outstanding.
Right.
But if I did something for you you know, if I fix your computer for a month and, you know, you don't legally have an obligation, you still morally have an.
No, that's what I'm talking about, that there was no there wasn't any work that actually wasn't paid for.
Really?
Yeah, Sylvia, I think you told me that, right?
That wasn't quite it. The
Okay.
mowing, you're asking to go back, I think 4 years, but maybe Mark remembers. I think the mowing was done, but there was something incorrect about or there wasn't a actual agreement, something like that.
Right, but I thought that was rectified, no?
Yeah,
I think we screwed him. I think we screwed him out of 10 grand. Sorry.
Oh, did we?
I think so.
Is Mark still here?
Yes, Mark's still here.
He is here. Yes.
Well, Mark is here.
So I
Well,
know this, I mean, I really appreciate he's willing to do something in the future, but I just think somehow we owe him for that, whatever that year was, and we didn't pay him.
I don't know.
I guess
Mark,
he's
you
not
listening?
available. So, Kristen,
I
you have your hand up.
Do you want me to say something?
Yeah, I do.
I appreciate Brian bringing this up. You know, I want to have a great relationship with the town. You know, basically, I was under the impression that I was doing the right thing a number of years ago, and then was told that the decision that had been made was not appropriate. And so
I'm sorry, can you clarify that? Because it's kind of vague. Like I'm sorry, if you did work and we owe you money,
well,
what's not appropriate?
So from my perspective, Brian, it's water over the dam. Okay, I appreciate you bringing it up. This is going forward here. That's kind of who I am. Okay, I want to go forward. Okay, I was told at the time, this is years ago, that the town meeting could vote differently, but a decision had been made that a proper decision was not made, not by myself, okay? But I would hope that would not affect what we're talking about doing here.
It's not, I just feel morally obligated that I believe in my mind there's a year that we deficited you, and I just want to clarify that and bring it up again because yeah, wrongs need to be made right when you can.
Well, I don't think that thank you for bringing it. First thing, Brian, thank you for bringing it up, but I would like to move forward under what I proposed here, if that is what the commission decides.
Okay. So I appreciate your contribution to the town and your willingness to give up. I think it was 10 grand that we owed you. I mean, that should be acknowledged. Yeah,
Okay.
no comment.
Okay, yeah, understood. So, Megan, for the cranberry bog, are we not going to make a motion on that right now? Because there are two options.
Yeah, so I was just gonna recommend, let me share this again, sorry. Yes, I was gonna recommend focusing on the mowing of the other fields with the FY26 funds, which are pressing, right? We're gonna be losing those soon, so prioritizing that, since we have the funds available. And then, edge clearing and cranberry bog. I guess we can think about if we want to use FY27 funds for those when we get them. But it doesn't seem that we're gonna have enough for mowing and edge clearing for FY26 funds, which run out at the end of the month. So
Okay.
the plan is to, if you want to use FY26 funds to sign a proposal for part of this, the mowing, and then we can encumber those funds. And then for the other work, we can use the FY27 incoming funds.
So
I-
we need a motion to accept
I'm,
the
I
mowing
move,
proposal.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
move to,
May I?
yeah. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Oh,
May I?
Christina, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. You gave me permission before, but another discussion ensued. Thank you. I just have a clarifying question. I noticed for Woodward, it's listed for two mowings a year, and my understanding was that there was just going to be a mowing to get everything sort of to base, and then probably go back to the mowing protocol that was established to better support habitat and wildlife. And so I see here though that it's mentioned twice. So could somebody just please clarify? Are we going back to a mowing protocol for just clearing for neat vistas, or is it just a one-time mowing to get it back to square one and then repeating once every 3-year rotation?
So my understanding was that it was one mowing this year, so like a spring and a fall mowing to restart it for this year.
Well,
And
that's
then after
two.
that, there would be a plan. So that was my understand. It's 2 mowings, yes. And that was just my understanding. It really doesn't matter to me if it's 1 or 2. It'd be cheaper if it was 1, but I thought that was what was approved in the scope of work that the commission approved. So that's what went out to the vendors when that was discussed.
Megan, she mentioned Woodward for the 3 types of mowing.
I'm so sorry.
Actually, that's toll.
Toll.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Toll. It's been a long day. Toll.
So, Jonathan.
Yeah, so I just wanted to comment on what Megan said earlier. So I submitted the bid because I was afraid nobody was going to submit the bid. And I was worried that the work really needed to be done. And although I'd love to do it as a volunteer, I can't maintain my equipment and do it as a volunteer. So I submitted what I amounted to a backup bid, if nobody else submitted a bid. But I am perfectly happy to defer to Farmer Duffy. His equipment is much more capable of doing this work than mine. And as a result, he's able to do it much more efficiently, and the town actually would get the job done at a better price than what I could offer the town. And so I think you should definitely select Farmer Duffy and consider my bid withdrawn.
All right, thank you. Alex?
I just had a quick question. Would the FY26 budget support any part of the edge clearing?
Can you see my new screen?
I'm still looking at your summary of proposals.
The tables. Yeah.
Let me switch it then.
So George, while we look at that, we talked about, at least the old LSC group, we talked about cleaning off machinery between changing
Yes.
areas. And I would like to ask Farmer Duffy if he's willing to, unfortunately for him, it might be driving back to his shed and hosing off the equipment before he goes from site A to site B, because that's how we spread invasives.
Well, we can ask him.
Yeah, that was listed at that was listed as one of the things that we have to do is clean off between fields.
And you willing to do that?
That is what my bid is.
Okay, just checking.
Good.
Sorry. Nothing personal.
Christina, you still have a comment?
I do, thank you. Just going back to toll. So if the bid was for fall and spring, that would mean that basically the mowing protocol wouldn't be in place next year either, as opposed to just doing one mowing this fall. And so I would like to encourage just doing the one mowing for toll, just specifically toll. Just doing the one mowing this fall, getting it back to square one, and then next season just allowing going back to the protocol that was set in place for that parcel.
So Christina, are we talking about a total mowing, or we've been doing stripes? Are we going to keep doing stripes, or you are talking about a total mowing of the entire field?
So the commission decided to do, I believe, a total mowing of the entire field to get everything back to square one. Since I guess the rotating protocol wasn't followed through 100%. That's my understanding. And so what I'm advocating is if it's going to be the complete mowing, that it should just be this fall as opposed to doing an additional complete mowing in the spring, which would.
I agree.
Yeah. Thank you.
And we have a lot of herbaceous woody plants that are growing there that I'm not sure how we would mow them, like the gray dogwood.
Can I just also interject a little, because this item is for approval of a proposal. So I don't want to get into the weeds about a scope of work. The commission discussed the
No
scope
pun
of work and
intended.
approved it. Exactly. The scope was already discussed and approved, and now someone's bidding on it. So we're trying to decide if we want to sign a proposal. But I do think in the future, if we want to have discussions about those intricacies, then we can do that. But I just don't know if it's a good use of time to have it for this specific item tonight.
Okay.
Well, we need to approve this in order to be able to use
Yeah, I'd like to encumber the funds and then
right,
so that we don't lose that money.
But to Alex's question, so right now, now that we have the DPW mower paid for and this Woodward land survey, the repair maintenance line item, which is LSC's account, we've spent 25,000, which leaves us about just under 19,000. So with the invasive species, that's 4,600. Okay, maybe I misspoke earlier. So it's 4,600. And then the field mowing would be the 15,600. And then actually it looks like we could do the edge clearing as well.
Out of 26.
Oh no, sorry, we couldn't. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought I corrected myself. Okay. Yeah, so we basically have just under 19,000 remaining. So with the herbicide treatment, and the field mowing, that just about gets us there. So the 7,000 would put us over.
So can we do some of the edge clearing?
If there's a priority site that
I could be
don't know.
mistaken, but I think you're already over.
You're already
Yeah,
over. You're at
by
20,000.
100
Yeah,
or so, yeah.
so it's like minimally over.
Yeah, you're right,
So
we are.
I
Yeah.
talked to Kelly about this, and so the LSC budget is within the general fund, like operating budget. So if the majority of the expenses in LSC's budget, we just have to borrow a little bit of money from what's left over from the other line items like office supplies or things like that, then we can cover it, but we can't put like a whole expense of like edge clearing into
So
a
we're
different
able
category, if that makes
we're able
sense.
to pull from other line items $1,448, but
Yeah,
$7,000 would not be possible.
exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I look at the proposal again?
Yes.
So the twice a year is this year for toll, and that's pretty soon, and this fall, correct?
Isn't it twice a fiscal year?
Well, she's going to be using the encumbered money. So
Right.
the concept is to mow it twice this year to try to get everything back to start.
Well,
And then,
I thought I heard that fall and spring.
well, it would
Potentially.
normally be in the spring and the fall.
So, Megan, can you clarify, is that for twice in this calendar year? Or do we have discretion on when we pull the trigger on it?
I'm thinking of twice a year as twice in a year. So like
Calendar year.
starting when we sign the proposal twice in that time frame.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I think ideally it would have been spring, like a month ago,
And fall, right.
and then fall,
Right.
but we're a little behind. So,
But
But
this
the pro-
contract, would that contemplate 2 mowings within the calendar 26?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
might it be 1 mowing in 26 and 1 mowing in calendar 27 spring? Depending on the property potentially.
yeah, and I guess that's a good question to ask Mark since he's the one who wrote this proposal. When you're agreeing to twice a year, are you thinking that's twice in 2026 or twice within the next year from now?
I think our point here, and I don't mean to jump in, Mark, but we need to obligate the funds before the end of the current year. And then we should be able to spend part of it in 2027. Is that not true, Megan?
27.
No, 26. Well,
fiscal 26.
Fiscal 26. My understanding from the discussion that we had at that last meeting was the place that we have some parts of toll that haven't been done in 4 years, some in 3 years, and some in 2 years. So get out there and mow now, and then in late fall, like mow again. But in the meantime, also go out there and look at what is popping up and where, what needs to be done and come up with a plan for next year.
Yeah.
The land stewards could work on that.
That's my understanding too, Sylvia.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, we're just way behind on maintenance.
Yeah. Way behind.
So my only concern in all this is if we have something that's, and I'm picking on toll, if we have, whatever this Canadian thistle, and it's in bloom, and we grind it all up, we just spread it everywhere. So I think it would be good if we have some sensitivity to what we're.
So when I went out with the vendor for herbicide treatment and asked them about coordinating with mowing and vice versa, and the timing seemed to work out. So
Good. Just asking.
yeah, no, it's a good point.
Very. I think we've always, when we've had any herbiciding done and mowing done, we've had the two entities talk to each other and coordinate.
I think the idea would be if you mow it now, then the thistle would grow up and then they would treat it in like August. And then you come and mow in the fall and even make it even weaker. So it actually might
just
even.
don't want to blow these seed heads all over the place. Like,
Yeah, I agree. That would be disastrous.
Okay.
So I'm looking for someone who can clearly state what we're going to vote on, because I'm confused.
Well, I'm going to take a stab at it if I've followed everything correctly. I move to accept the proposal from Farmer Duffy, the mowing proposal for those 4 properties, not including the Cranberry Bog. Well, but that's 5. So sorry, 4 properties. With the 2 times in a year from the time that the proposal is approved, which means this now, and then again in the fall to bring specifically Toll Field back up to working conditions, or I don't know how else to say it, back up to snuff so that it can be properly observed and a plan can be hashed out by LSC in the future.
I
That was
second.
my priority. Sorry.
Yep, second.
All right.
Can you also authorize me to sign the proposal so I can just do it?
I
Okay.
move to authorize Administrator Megan Sullivan to sign the proposal.
Second again.
Thank you.
Can we also acknowledge that there's some year, I'm going to say it's 2022 or 23, that we didn't pay Duffy. Just
We have a proposal that's been made and seconded. Maybe let's vote on that.
okay.
I agree. Yeah, that can be a comment, Brian, for now.
I was trying to amend it, but okay.
Okay. Navneet,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Melissa,
Aye.
Sylvia,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The motion passes. Thank you.
And thank you, Mark, for sticking around on this, on this
Forever.
call.
And thank you, Mark, for being a forward thinker, a focus on the future kind of person.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
So we're not going to talk about the bog? We'll do that another time, or?
We don't have funds for that right now, right?
Okay. All right. That makes
Next
sense.
meeting.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Item 10. Everybody still awake? Hope so.
Barely.
Vote to approve transfer of money from in the intents account, WPA filing fees, to the operating budget for 3 hours per week of administrative support. Is this something we do annually? It's what
Yes.
we got in comment
Yes.
meetings. Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Can I get a motion to approve this?
So moved.
So moved.
Brian
Second,
and
whatever.
yeah, whatever. Sylvia. We will take a quick roll call vote. Navneet,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Melissa,
Aye.
Sylvia,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The motion passes. Thank you. Number 11, informational Concord River Water Chestnut Pole at Bedford Boat Ramp, June 13th, 14th. Event report received. I had fun doing it. So is this something you want to report on, Megan? Did we get a report or?
Yeah, I put the report in the meeting packet. It was just for your information.
Yeah,
in
it's just
case
one
you-
page as I recall.
Just,
So
yeah, just to keep you all informed on what our great stewards in town are doing.
well, it was such a pleasant day. It just was.
You were there, George?
Yeah, we had there were 17 canoes and
Awesome.
2 people per some kayaks. Anyway, so it was fun. Item
I
12.
went there too.
Yes, I know you were checking everybody in. And I was the only one who didn't sign up early. Never mind, Sylvia. Item 12, informational. As of June 9th, the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs has declared a level 3 critical drought in the northeast region of the state. Just so everybody's aware.
Yeah, just thought it would be good for everyone to know.
Anybody with a garden knows this very well.
Mhm.
All right. Number 13, let's pay some bills. We have Sumco for 10,580. That was for the Cranberry Bog upstream slope repairs. So that's all completed, right?
Yep, so
I
that
presume so.
that closed
Stamsky and
up
Mary-
their contract.
Right. Okay. Stamsky and McNary for $3,800 for Woodward Conservation Land Survey, along with a plot plan.
I thought we were sharing that with the PPC. I didn't think we were. paying
ACF.
that in full.
No, we ended up I think that ended up not happening.
But that's not fair because they said they would pay half of it.
When LSC wasn't around, I talked to Ryan about it and
Okay.
we came to the conclusion that we would use LSC money.
All
I
right,
think CCF, I don't I don't remember exactly, but I think CCF had paid for some other things, so they
Said they would
weren't
split it
paying.
with us, but that board's dissolved, so let's let that go.
All right. Now for the big items, Amazon for $6.98. Office photos.
Toilet paper?
Yeah. So
Do we get
Sarah,
pictures?
Sarah's going through a lot of the paper files for conservation land, and we noticed that there's a lot of photos in them, like that are really cool. And then they don't really fit well in folders, like stacked together. So she has a little bind like photo book with little sleeves. So we just needed a few more. So now we have some organized pictures if anyone ever wants to come in and see the pictures that probably Sylvia has taken in the past and maybe even some people before her. We have a whole collection.
So was this digitized or it's actually in a book? In a
Not
binder?
yet. It's just in a
Okay.
book now, but we hope to digitize and put some cool photos on the
Captions.
website.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Last item, Ritchie and Clapper for $16,295. This is for the e-mower.
Yay.
Yes. Yay.
Yes,
And
helped and Trails helped too. Good.
yes. Very collaborative. So Jim just got the mower on Monday. I'm just waiting for him to send me a photo of him or his crew mowing a trail, and then we have a whole like social media post drafted, and yeah,
Good.
we're gonna advertise this because I think it shows the collaboration between all the different groups in town, and yeah, it feels like an exciting thing. So we finally got the invoice and we got the mower and we're ready to go.
When do I get a ride? That's what I want to know.
Have to talk to Jim.
Okay. Well, anyway,
Get on the
so item 13, can I
list.
do,
Oh yeah.
do we authorize Megan to pay these bills? Is that the
So
idea?
moved.
No way.
Thank you,
Second, as long as she
Nick.
pays for herself.
And we'll take a roll call vote. Sylvia,
Aye.
Melissa,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Navneet,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The motion passes.
Jim said the mower
Right.
goes up to 16 miles an hour, so
Ooh.
it can cruise.
Can't run that fast.
So moving on to page 6, at least on my end anyway. Vote to approve minutes. So Sylvia, thank you again. I scanned through both of your minutes production. I agree with the comments that you made. Anyone else have a chance to take a look? Well, so you're on the hook, Sylvia. Can I get a motion to accept the edits as provided by Sylvia?
Can you do them individually, George? I
Do we have
can't,
to do them? Oh,
I
okay.
can't vote for May 28th.
Oh, okay. Sorry. To approve May 28th.
So moved.
Brian
Second.
and Sylvia, you better be the one. Okay.
Second.
Yep. So this is for May 28th. Nick,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Melissa,
Aye.
Sylvia,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion passes. 611. Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Nick and Brian, thank you. So Navneet, you can vote on this one, right? Navneet,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Melissa,
Aye.
Sylvia,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The motion passes. Thank you very much. So do we have item 15, any liaisons available?
I've got a little bit. I don't know about Melissa. She has on the DPW.
I do. I can follow you, dear.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to say, although I've yet to be appointed by the select board, I guess, to crack, I can say that they are going to be holding a site visit this Sunday morning. CR 29. It's a trail leading from Kirk Street to the Fern Loop Trail in the state park and also to Ember Lane off Lowell Road. It's a bifurcated trail. It's over private land, so it's very nice to have these generous people provide a trail. The last inspection was done in 2021, and they're usually on a 5-year inspection cycle unless something comes up that requires something more frequent. And Julie Mercier is coordinating a site visit with Land Tech consultants and stakeholders at the Cranberry Bog House. Last I knew it was either going to be on July 8 or 9. We'll let you know if you're interested in going. And I also have discovered that no one is mowing the lawn at the Bog House. So I think Megan is following up on that because it looks pretty grim. The Agricultural Commission has their summer event on Saturday at the Great Brook Farm State Park at noon and at 2. And I've heard that there are barn tours and ice cream, not in the barn itself. I have another comment that I have discovered that the most recent Open Space and Recreation report does not appear to be up on the website. And I think it ought to be, so I will work with Megan to get that facilitated because it's on my computer, on my former computer, excuse me. And while reading the minutes, I looked for how the effort to discuss the conservation of the year award happened last year because I was concerned about the way it was addressed this year, and discovered that there are 2 sets of minutes from last year, June 5 and June 8th, that are June 5 and May 8th, that are not up on the websites. We need to find those and get them posted.
Good. That's odd.
Yeah, that's not all my liaison. I mean, no, there wasn't anything in the CPA, but those aren't really liaisons, the last 2, but I made note of them and I thought I'd let you know.
Great, thank you.
Sylvia, the open space and rec plan is on the website. It's just under planning documents.
Under planning documents?
Yeah, because it's a plan.
Now, can we get it on the Conservation Commission's website and maybe even the RecCom site?
Yeah, it's on the planning board site.
I would not think, in fact, I didn't, in 3 tries, I couldn't find it. So I didn't know it was there. So maybe we can try to get it other places too.
I don't know. It sounds like the right place though, right? It's on the recreation
Well,
site.
a lot of people want to see what all the maps are and stuff.
Right.
I mean, you can also, like, if you just Googled like Carlisle Open Space Rec Plan, it should just come up.
No,
Like,
it didn't.
as the first hit. What was that?
It didn't. It came up like not the current one, the one before.
Okay.
Well, that's something that you can check with, SEO stuff. Search engine optimization. Maybe you're missing some meta tags for the pages, for the page, or for the PDF
I'm pretty
document.
good at searches. So
No, I don't mean
I'll
you.
get it figured out.
I mean, perhaps on the website, there needs to be some meta tags added to for the PDF link. So it's
Sylvia, I'm sorry. Which minutes did you say weren't posted?
Let me get my sheet back here, my crib sheet.
You said June 5th and May 8th?
May, I think it is May 8th and June 5.
Okay, so May 8th had 3 different agendas, so there actually is minutes posted on V3 with the agenda. But I'll try to find the June 5th minutes.
Okay.
Because I see that those ones are not up, but May 8th is covered.
All right, Melissa.
Okay, so the DPW Building Committee, which I serve on as our representative, met on June 16 with HKA, which is Carlisle's chosen design firm to design the new DPW building.
Mhm.
And the issues that were discussed and decided at that meeting included 5 points here. Number one, location. The consensus of the committee was to direct HKA to design the new building at an alternate location outside the buffer zone. The current building is entirely in the buffer zone. And on higher, which is also a spot that's on a little higher ground, which should provide some additional protection against flooding and so forth, and contamination. So it's beneficial both for the wetlands there and also for continuing operations during construction, because the town can continue to use the existing building while the new one is constructed. Second item was we agreed radiant flooring was the way to go to enable comfortable working conditions for maintenance, folks working and maintaining equipment inside the building during the winter while conserving on heating costs for a building with a high ceiling and doors that are opening and closing regularly. We agreed on a flat roof, no need for a shed roof, which some communities have opted in to have more the cottage look for their DPW buildings. Ours is pretty much out of sight, or it won't be very visible, so we don't need aesthetics. And the flat roof will be solar ready. Fourth is dorms. The feasibility study that was conducted by Lyro Hill included dorms, but we all agreed dorms are not needed to address the need for staff that are working long shifts during snowstorms. Last winter, for example, which was a very snowy winter, there were 3 overnights, so it's not important. The facility can have some cots available for workers who need to rest, and sometimes they just prefer to sleep in their trucks anyway. And then finally, Jim over at DPW is going to work with HKA to ensure they have an accurate equipment list for helping to appropriately size the building. There are several trucks and other pieces of equipment that are retired. They're sitting outside in the back that are going to be put up for resale. HKA envisioned an 18,000 square foot building, which is significantly larger than the Lyro proposal. But fortunately, HKA believes that a larger building is still achievable within the currently proposed budget.
Yay. Okay.
That's it.
Any questions from commission?
Not about that, but I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Are you going to be back for the July 16th meeting?
Who? Everybody?
No, you.
Oh, me. I'm going
You're
to
the
try
chair.
to be. I'm supposed to be in Maine, but I'm going to be coming back and forth because I do work occasionally.
Well,
So-
you could zoom in too, yeah.
Supposedly I have access from this rental property, so I'm planning to be there, yes.
Okay, great.
So can I raise another issue before we adjourn?
Sure.
We have an elephant that's not in the room. Dan Wells served, I don't know how many years, but before my time. And he's not here tonight, unfortunately. But I really feel like we need to acknowledge him and his efforts for the CONSCOM. And I'm sorry to say, it just really bothers me. And so in my old days in Cohasset, at town meeting, the next town meeting, we would acknowledge people like Dan and the effort he put in over the years. And in Carlisle, people just disappear and we don't say anything. So that disturbs me, but I just really want to acknowledge Dan and the years he put in. And I'm sorry he's not here tonight. It's his last meeting. And can we please somehow acknowledge him?
Well, I'm going to miss him.
Me too.
He was a rock. He had such amazing information and gravitas.
Right. And poise and how we
Yes.
delivered it.
Yes.
Great
excellent.
judgment. Always great judgment.
And I agree. I think I've been on Conservation Commission since 1990, but we'd be in a meeting and Dan would say, "What about this?" And I'd be like, I'm
Oops.
way ahead of me, way ahead of me. So I just want to mention that he's going to be sorely missed. And unfortunately, in Carlisle, you don't do anything. We don't send a card. We don't
I
send
mean,
flowers.
you can though. What do you want to do? Do you want me to get a card? Like, I'm happy to do that. I was gonna send him an email anyways,
What's the
but
budget? Do we have $1?
I think we could buy a card. If that's something you wanted to do, I think we can make our own rules here of how we wanna thank someone for serving.
Commemorate, yeah.
I really felt bad when Alex left and we didn't acknowledge. He just like, bye, Alex, and that was it. It's just, it disturbs me.
Well, wait till you leave.
Brian.
No hurry, Brian.
Next week.
All right.
Brian,
Well,
thank you for bringing this
Acknowledgement. I'm just saying these people.
it's a good comment.
Many years of contribution to the town, and they don't even get acknowledged. They just disappear like a dead person.
So, I love the idea of a card. However, that feels a little small, especially with how much
How
time
much time? Mhm.
and expertise a person like Dan Wells provided us, and specifically now we're talking about Dan. Is there like anything more publicly, like a letter to the mosquito or something like that we could put in as a commission when people step down? Is that
Well,
like
and
something we can sort of
I
like
said,
do?
we in Cohasset, and I'm sorry to, bring up my old life, but in town meeting, we would acknowledge someone like Dan or Alex and say, thank you so much for your years of effort.
We actually do that at town meeting. I think last town meeting, we acknowledged several people.
Yes,
Alex?
they do that.
We
You
do
do
at town
Alex?
meeting, yeah.
But
So
Dan
that's a
hadn't
great
left yet.
idea. But he hadn't left yet, so yeah.
But I'm
We
sorry, I
should
don't think we did
time
that.
his departure appropriately.
But Navneet, I like your idea.
Like a
That's
letter-
a
a
public
letter-
place to do it.
Yeah.
From
Yeah, we
commission.
could put something in the mosquito and also in the town newsletter,
Okay.
kind of in
Yeah.
parallel.
I just want to acknowledge people when they go,
Well, Brian, write the letter. Come on.
Oh, no, I'm not the writer.
Well,
I just do
come
a big
on.
X.
I like the idea.
Yeah,
I
no, I
can-
like that idea,
I
Navneet.
can work on something if that's what you guys want, because I was gonna send him an email anyways, so I don't know him
Yeah, I
as
like
well
that
as you
idea.
all, but I felt his impact even for a short time, so I'll draft something you guys are free to add to it with specific details of his contributions over the years, but I'm happy to get that started.
Okay, we
Thanks.
can put
Thank
that
you, Megan.
mosquito, whatever.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, but I just feel like, and again, I feel like when Alex left, we just like said, oh, Alex left. Like to me, it seems so inappropriate. You have to acknowledge people for their efforts.
Well, luckily, he's still not online. So,
And speaking of over the years, we need to go back and figure out when he started. Because it's been
Alex,
quite a
Dan.
while.
Can
Yeah.
the town clerk tell us?
Possibly.
Yeah, I can figure it out, yep.
A town clerk that's dead could tell us. Peggy could tell us, but she's gone.
We still have a town clerk, so.
Yeah, we do.
right.
All right.
All right.
Anyway,
can I get,
I just
can I
wanted
get
some.
yeah. Thank
I
you,
just-
Ron. That's good.
Okay.
So I get a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Seconded.
Ryan and Navneet. Ryan, Navneet. And we'll take a quick roll call vote. Sylvia,
Aye.
Melissa,
Aye.
Ryan,
Aye.
Nick,
Nick, you're
Nick.
muted.
You're
is he
muted.
still?
Here he is.
He's,
Well,
I heard an eye.
You're supposed to
did.
wave your hand or something.
I heard an aye.
He said
Yeah,
aye.
you got it? Okay. And Navneet,
Aye.
and chair votes aye, the motion passes. Thank you all for another good night.
Thank you, George.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care, everybody.